All right, peace and blessings. Peace and blessings. All praises to the Most High God. This is a video that I am doing in response to, some conversations that I've had after releasing a video this morning about my experiences with Freemasonry, things that I have seen by people who have tried to, I guess, recruit me, things that I have read, videos that people have, shared over the years of the question of, the benevolence or the malignance of Freemasonry, meaning is that good or bad? Now, once again, I shared a video. I'm going to share you one of those experiences. What's going on, everybody in the chat? I appreciate y'all for tuning in. It's been a while since I did a live, but I'm happy to see you guys tuning into the discussion because, I've had a lot of conversation with people whom chimed in on that subject from this morning. My experiences with Freemasonry. A lot of people have questions about it. There have been a lot of people who have claimed to be former Freemasons, and they've come out and shared their stories about their experiences. Some of them, not so favorable to the Freemason group. Then I've had people reach out to me and be like, nah, brother, they don't know what they're talking about. Freemasonry is a benevolent organization. We are for the rise of humanity and those things. Now, once again, anything that I say up here is not, concrete. Like, these are thoughts and information. And you're going to see one video of a guy who was a Freemasonry. He came out and he shared some of the experiences about the proposed evil of it. And so anything that I say up here is not, what's going on, what's going on, everybody in the chat. Anything that I say up here is not, I'm not advocating for its truth or its inadequacy. Meaning what I'm saying is what I've researched over the years, what people have told me, what I've read, other videos that I've seen concerning the subject, because once again, I had an uncle who was a Freemason. He recently died. I can't say anything bad about him. But once again, as my brother David Harps just said, anything done in secret can't be good. And that's one of the harps I have with it, because a lot of the things they do are in secret. Let me just share this video real quick to a social media platform. And brother Bam, if you are, up here, I am live. Let me go ahead and share this real quick so people can see what we are talking about. We will share this one right here. Share to. So basically, what I did this morning was share an experience that I had, and I'm going to tell you about that now. And you're going to actually hear a person who was in Freemasonry describe exactly what I saw when I went to this location in which the guy had been trying to recruit me. It was a barbershop. He had been trying to recruit me forever and ever. And the barbershop also doubled, I guess, as his lodge. So this one particular day, I went there to actually get a haircut because he was open from 10 to 2. But when I got there, the door was locked. So I peeked in the door, and there were three black men. They were blindfolded. They were blindfolded all in a straight line. They had a rope around their neck. And it looked like to me they were in their boxers, but you're going to hear this guy, he's describing it somewhat, but they were, they were naked almost, besides their boxers. And I think they had a rope around their waist or apron or something like that. Nevertheless, I peeked in and I looked at it, and, the guy was standing behind him or beside him. He was doing something. So right then I said, okay, well, this is something that I'm not supposed to be seeing. But as I stated in the first video, any organization that I have to be blindfolded and a rope around my neck to join, then I don't want to join. Like, anything that causes me to be going in the blind, literally and figuratively, and we'll get into that in a moment, I don't want to be a part of it. Now, once again, I've not been in. I can only speak for what I saw. I haven't been in it. I don't know. I got some good brothers I know who are in it. They're good people. But anything that deals with me being blindfolded, there's definitely no place for me in it. Now, so I want y'all to watch this video because you remember what I just told you, right? Now, this is a former 32nd degree Mason giving this interviewer a little bit of the first steps of initiation to that organization. Just watch this real quick.
Some time to talk about Freemasonry, because Freemasonry, it's very rare to actually talk about talk to former Masons, because it's something that you're not supposed to talk about. So it's kind of an opportunity while I have you here to kind of, for me personally, to learn, but also for the people to kind of have a knowledge about what Freemasonry is. You said that you became a Master Mason. Can you explain how the degrees and the lodges are set up in Freemasonry so people actually understand what we're talking about?
Well, the basic thing is what's called the Blue Lodge. And that consists of 3 degrees: entered apprentice, fellow craft, and Master Mason. A lot of Masons never go any further than that. I did. But basically, it's like an initiatory process. The requirements are you have to, at that time, now mind you, I think I joined in 75. You had to be a man, freeborn, of good report, and well recommended. So they asked you if you believe in God, and I said yes, I did. And they didn't ask which God I believed in. They just, do you believe in God? And I said yes. I didn't tell them that the God I believed in had horns. So anyhow, I went through there's this whole process. You do a lot of memory work, they call it. You memorize all of these ritual things. You have a mentor who's called your poster, who's an older Mason. And the guy that I had was a real, very kind guy, an executive in the power company. I can't remember the name of the company. And he helped me memorize all this stuff. And then you go to 2nd degree, and then you have a whole bunch of stuff to memorize. And just let me touch this briefly, because people ask me, well, at what point does Masonry start to look creepy? I mean, because there's tons of Christians that are Masons, literally thousands of them. And I just asked them, how can you do that? I mean, because when you start out as a Mason, they make you come to the lodge, they make you take off all your clothes except your undies. They put you in this like jammies. They're like, they're like pajamas. They're like, typically the one knee is bare and one breast is bare, your left breast, and I think your right knee. And you're blindfolded. You have a cable around your neck. It's like a velvet, they call it a cable tow. It's like a velvet blue rope. And you're tied up.
Now, keep in mind, is that not what I just told you I saw in the previous video? But let's continue.
And you're led to the door of the lodge. And you've got a guy leading you, because, of course, you're blindfolded. He knocks on the door. And somebody this is all ritualized. And the guy on the other side says, who comes here? And your guy who's guiding you, who's a lodge officer, he says, Mr. Bill Sneblin, who has been long in darkness, and now seeks to be brought to light, to receive the rights and benefits of the worshipful lodge, erected to God as all members have done before. And I asked Mr. Christian, Mr. Pastor, Mr. Elder, because there's, like it used to be, I don't know if it still is, it used to be 40% of the pastors in a Southern Baptist convention were Freemasons. And how can you say that you're in darkness when you have Jesus in your heart? You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And then, that's not it. You go into the lodge, you're led around, like they call it circumambulation. You walk around the lodge. They have these officers, the junior warden, the senior warden at the different, things of the compass. And in the east is the worshipful master, who's like the big cheese. Then you're made to kneel at this altar. Again, you're still blindfolded. And you're made to understand that you're putting your hands on this huge, it's like a pulpit Bible, big King James Bible. And this guy comes forward, this worshipful master, and he says, we're going to lead you through this oath. And I'm not going to go through the whole oath because it takes like 5 minutes, but it's this long, involved, and ultimately blood-curdling oath. At the end, you say, you swear, the essence of the oath is to keep the secrets of an entered apprentice Mason, which of course I'm violating right now. And then at the end, you swear that if I should ever reveal the secrets of an entered apprentice Mason, that I swear that I will have my throat cut across, my tongue torn out by the roots, and buried in the sands of the sea where the tide ebbs and flows twice in 24 hours, should I ever knowingly violate this, my entered apprentice obligation. So help me God and keep me steadfast to the due performance of the same. Now, if you were a Christian pastor or whatever, wouldn't that kind of raise the hair on the back of your neck?
Yeah, I think it was raise the head on the back of the necks of pretty much most people just to hear that.
Yeah. And then at that point, the worshipful master says, my brother, in your current situation, what do you most desire? And then the guy that's with you, that he's a senior warden, says light, whispers it in your ear. And I say light. And then they remove the blindfold. And you see before you this big open Bible with a square and compass on it. And those represent the three great lights of Masonry: the Bible, the square, and the compass. And then they are revealed by the three lesser lights of Masonry, which are three burning tapers that are adjacent to the altar. Now, that's the most mild initiation. From there on, they get more and more creepy. So I don't know how deep you want to go into this, but basically, Masonry is an antichrist thing. It claims it's not religious, but it is. They play around with it because they say, oh, well, we're just religious, but we're not a religion. Because if they were a religion, then if you were already a Christian, you shouldn't join another religion. Most Christians would say that. Like, if you're a Christian, you wouldn't become a Buddhist.
Right.
Well, Masonry is a religion. I mean, it has all the qualities. That's what I tell people. If you look at Webster's dictionary, there's three things that make something a religion, according to Webster. Number one, something that has a belief in some sort of deity. Masonry has that. Number two, that belief is expressed in some sort of ritual. And Masonry is full of ritual. I mean, that's pretty much all it is. And then the third quality is it has a system of some sort of ethics or morality. And Masonry has that. So Masonry is a religion. And it's an antichrist religion. And the problem is that basically, if you drill down into this deep enough and read the books that are written by people like Albert Pike, like Albert Mackey. These are two, or Arthur Edward Waite. These are three prominent scholars of 19th century, early 20th century Masonry. And all of them were occultists. Arthur.
All right, so I'm gonna stop it right there because I think the brother, had kind of proved my point. As I mentioned, I just saw exactly what he described as a initiation rite. But there's a certain thing, because he was also a Satanist before that. And he said, well, if you want to dive deeper into the occult or Satanism, they told him to join two things. They told him to join the Mormon Church and also the Masons. And so that's what he did. And that's what, he said, well, most people don't reach higher than the third degree. And I think they call that the Blue Lodge. With the brother, I told him to call in. Now I might give him a call because, he's a Mason. He's kind of sent me some information defending, the Masons. He said most people who are talking about it haven't read the books. Like this guy said, you got to read the books. And so, but one thing, he mentioned at first, he was like, they asked him, do you believe in God? And he said, yeah, I believe in God, but the God he believed in was Satan, the God with horns. And so that is one thing that I've read about it, where they say, the higher being or the great creator, whatever, but you can be talking about any God that you believe in when they ask you that. Some people have said that they have all the holy books, the Torah, the Quran, the Bible, and they put them all together. Allegedly. Once again, I don't know. Once these are things that I've heard. Judah Pride of Judah said they don't care which God you believe in. And then another aspect of it, because, I talked to a brother today, and they said, of course, with that ritual, I described seeing exactly that. And I did forget that they were walking around in circles, right? So they was walking around in circles, and we'll get to the secrecy of it in a minute. But the guy was like, well, there anybody who has been, long, this brother has been long in darkness, and, he asked for the light, right? And so it's been alleged that, there are secrets, and there they have light, and they hold the secrets of the human good and things like that. One of the brothers called me today and was like, well, they hijacked it from black people, like from the Egypts or whatever. And the secret is that, we, the black, now this is according to him. Once again, it may sound something like this, but, I'm just paraphrasing what he told me. He said, well, the secret is we're reacting how we tied the white people up and led them across like the 22 miles of the burning sands or whatever into the Caucasoid Mountains. Now that's what, okay, incorrect. My brother said incorrect, the Holy Bible only. Okay, well, once again, I stand to be corrected, Mr. Roberts. So, but basically, and feel free to call in. Like I said, my number is 919-587-7782. You can discuss, or you can correct me, live on air, or, whatever, because I'm not doing this to say I do or don't know. I'm doing this for clarity, because once again, there are certain things that I don't understand about it. This being one, like the brother said, well, we got the secrets, and the secret is we are the rulers, and they all had that. They are. Say somebody said, the Oracle Queen says that guy was speaking correct, but we have the secrets and all of this, and we're holding the secrets for the good in humanity. And one of the favorite scriptures I like to use on this channel is all things that are hidden shall be revealed, and all things that are done in secret shall be yelled on the mountaintop. And so yeah, and I've heard that the Masonic Foundation is the building of the King Solomon's Temple. Yeah. And somebody said, Taylor, I'd like to ask you a question. Is it good or evil the devil have children? Questions. What do the true living God have to do with this? Be careful. And that's what a lot of people say, you know what I'm saying? Because they're, but my main thing with this, because the brother said, well, we hold the secrets. I said, okay, well, if you see the condition of black people in America, right? And you hold this secret of the greatness of black people, and we are really the true leaders, and we led the white people outside of the country, or whatever that secret is, right? The secret is supposed to be the answer for humanity. Then why would you keep that a secret? That's confusing to me. Say, for instance, if I have a brother, right? He's in a bad condition, and he's struggling, he's trying to get out. He had everything together, like he's getting his life together, he's doing everything, but he can't get over the hump because I see this one thing that he needs to do. I got the answer for him to be able to make it to where he's trying to get to. And I see this brother struggling. I be like, nah, brother, I can't give you the answer. You got to come over here and do 22 jumping jacks, 17 push-ups. You got to turn around in the circle. I got to blindfold you while you recite the Star Spangled Banner backwards. You got to do the hokey pokey. You turn yourself around, and then I'll give you the secret. That doesn't, you know what I'm saying? I would, you know what I'm saying? Like, that doesn't make sense to me. You know, if you are so good, anybody that I can help, you know, whether I got the knowledge or not, I will have to give that to him because I'm a good human being, you know? So that's one thing that, you know, kind of reeks of deception to me. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, y'all let me think about that, because also there's things that they're saying is the worshipful master. Again, the worshipful master, the guy I was talking to earlier said that was just the head of the lodge. That's just the head of the lodge. Okay, well, why don't they just call him the head of the lodge? Well, the words we use, they're ancient. You know, they don't mean what they mean today. You know, this is different than what the words that, you know, people understand them as. But because if you are, you know, a believer in God or whatever, you know, the Most High God, you're not going to have another worshipful master. Once again, those sit down and watch all and do nothing. Exactly, right? To sit down and watch all this happen to people. They say that they believe in God, which God, there are plenty of gods, right? Satan is the father of lies. So these are things that, you know, I always ask questions about. And you heard the brother say that after they're blindfold, they walk around in a circle and then they kneel at an altar. Right. And if you look at the thumbnail, if you look at all of those images, as that guy mentioned, he said you kneel at the altar and there's this big Bible opened up with the square and compass. That is the picture that I put on the thumbnail, as well as what they call the Baphomet, the goat god. Those are all images that pulled up when I, you know, looked up Freemasonry and rituals, right? And also the all-seeing eye of Horus or whatever. And a lot of people say it dates back to, you know, the Egyptians and the hieroglyphs. The brother sent me something, you know, earlier today, which, you know, says that, see, some unknowingly get into it and they can't get out of it. And that's, well, there's a, you know, there's another thing that I've heard too, like I said in my previous video, which the brother, you know, kind of disputed. It was like, nah, man, you know, it depends on, you know, what they ask you to do, because it wasn't no, he was like, well, if they ask you to do something bad, they're not going to ask you to do something bad. But I just said, listen, if there's anything that I'm asked to do and I don't want to do it, you know, he was like, nah, you would not want to do it. You know, so how do you know? You know what I'm saying? Because under the threat, and you heard that guy say, and I mentioned that in my first video, they said, well, if you tell these secrets that, you know, okay, here's a caller. We're going to see what they got to say. Peace and blessings. You live on the air.
Yo, what's up with you, bro? How you feeling?
Pretty good, man. How you doing?
I can't complain, man. I just thought I'd call in. I seen you like a couple of times on YouTube. You had some interesting things to say, but I thought I'd just share my perspective.
Yes, sir.
So I was, I guess you could say, initiated as a Master Mason. That's a topic, right, that you're talking about?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
And so I'll be happy to, you know, answer any questions that you might have, you know, to the best of my ability. But to be honest with you, a lot of it, I feel it's like a lot of like spooky shit that people kind of excuse. I don't know if I could. You know,
yeah, well, try to watch your language. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, because you know, I don't want this, you know, to be bad.
Yeah, a lot of it is just like a lot of spookism. I think when people don't understand what they're looking at, you know, they're inherently going to end up having a fear of it, which is like just naturally understandable if you understand psychology. But like I said, I was actually initiated I want to say 2014, 2015, something like that. And at the time, I was in the military. There is, I would say, an inherent connection between a lot of these secret societies and elements of military-industrial complex, the government. But I'll say one thing you need to understand about the Masons also is that they are traditionally the antithesis and the enemies of the Vatican. So when you see a lot of the anti-Masonic propaganda, it's coming out of the Vatican. And like I said, no, disrespect to anybody's religious beliefs, all this stuff, but when you do the history, it kind of speaks for itself.
Yeah, well, we all know how evil, the Catholic Church has been, throughout the years. I don't think that's, debatable. So, yeah. So I do have a question, because the brother I was talking to earlier, he was like, well, there's no higher degree than the third, than like you said, the Master Mason. There's no higher degree. So I'm asking, okay, well, why are people walking around saying that they're a 32nd degree and a 33rd degree?
Those are honorary degrees.
Okay.
So I would put it to the example of, I don't know if you or any of your audience has ever been in the military, but when you go in the military, there's a level of basic training.
Yeah.
So once you reach that level of basic training, you already a sailor, Marine, airman, what have you. You see what I'm saying? It don't matter if you end up becoming captain, lieutenant, those are just titles. But at your core, you're still that level.
So let me ask you, because it's the same question I asked him. Like, so why don't they call themselves that level then? You know what I mean? Because, like, say I likened it to this. If I go to college, I get an associate's degree, right? That's the brother was telling me, well, that's your foundation. That third level is your foundation and nothing. Right. So I go to college and I get an associate's degree. Then I said, well, I'm going back 2 more years. I get a bachelor's degree. Then I go back 2 more years. I get my master's degree. And then I go back again, I get my doctorate. I have never seen somebody who spent all that time say, well, I'm not going to say I have a doctorate. I'm just going to be an associate level forever. If that makes sense. If that analogy makes sense. So
I would think, and the way I would just look at it just from a human perspective, like I said, I only went to the 3rd degree because I felt like that was all I really needed to do in order to see what I needed to see. You understand what I'm saying?
Okay.
So I had like other OGs, 33rds, KT, what have you, and they would kind of take me under their wing, just drop little jewels on me. But it's like I didn't feel like I had to prove anything.
All right, so you said that's all that you needed to do to see what you needed to see, and so that right there is kind of ambiguous. Like, okay, well, I've done seen what I need to see. I don't need to see anymore. But if this is such a good thing, then okay, I got to keep going and going. I got to see all that I can see.
Well, I'll say this, and like me just being who I am on a certain level, I'm just going to be, like I said, I'm me. You understand?
Yeah.
When I say that,
yeah.
I'm just a real person. Like all the pretentiousness aside, you see what I'm saying? If you a stand-up dude, you a stand-up dude, and if that's how you carry yourself in person, that's how they're going to receive you on the level. You understand what I'm saying? So, dudes who's on the square, they'll say, oh, yeah, his reputation precedes him. He's a real one. You see what I'm saying?
Okay.
So it's like, it don't matter if you're 32, 3rd, whatever.
Okay.
Vouch for you. It's like, okay, yeah, he's a stand-up. So basically what I'm saying with that is like, I don't know, some people, they may feel like, well, I need to go to that next level. My ego, my pride, whatever is, maybe just ambition for power, just to say that you did something.
Okay.
But like 33rd is just that basic level where it's like, okay, you proficient, a lot of it also I will say is very perfunctory. You know what I mean?
No, break that down to the layman term. Perfunctory.
So perfunctory, what I mean is a lot of the ritualism is probably going to go over, people's head just as far as what it signifies or what it's supposed to be emblematical of.
Mm-hmm.
They use a lot of that certain language when they say certain things.
Yeah.
The way it was always described to me at its core, Masonry is a beautiful system of morality built an allegory. Basically, it's just a way for you to try to govern yourself and kind of interact accordingly when you're in the presence of others and kind of being in a certain system of, I guess, for more or less balance.
Mm-hmm. So what? So because once again, I've studied it. I'm not going to say like I'm an expert on it, but I've studied some things that talked about Hiram Abiff and the master builder and him being hit in the head with a rock and being raped. So all of those things, those are some of the allegories, I guess you're talking about.
Correct. And that's more so seen as things, for lack of a better term, almost like mythology. They're read and understood in the context of that these aren't things that may or may not have happened, but the purpose for us teaching these things, there's certain values and certain principles within those stories, and that the secrecy behind the rituals involves in, if I just gave you something and I really break down, the reason why I'm giving it to you, it's not going to hold the same value to you. So I have to give it to you in a certain way that you're going to be able to appreciate it and know what to do with it once you receive it. You understand what I'm saying? If I give it to you before you're ready for it, it might lead to your self-destruction.
And I can understand that. I definitely truly can understand that. But so one person brought up another point, said taking oaths to lower principalities. Now, once again, the brother, I don't know if you watched the first video where the brother who was in it and told about the initiation oaths, where he had to lay on the altar and say this long thing. And if you do reveal the secret, your throat will be cut from ear to ear, your tongue pulled out and buried. All of those things that I've read before he even said it. So once again, I have to, when two or three, witnesses, you bet it. But so there's a scripture, and as far as like, once again, people saying, and I don't know what you believe or whatever, but people say, well, Christians shouldn't be Masons because of this. But there's a scripture that says you shouldn't take an oath. You should let your yes be yes and your no be no. So if you believe that, once again, go ahead, my brother.
Well, I would just say this, and I'm not vouching for the system, but just again, you'll be able to see the patterns and correlation between, Freemasonry and certain, institutions of the state, is that if you're a public servant, you got to take an oath. And normally there's going to be some type of official, or, they mention the term principality, which is essentially a title, who's delivering that oath. So if you're involved in any type of, I would say, I don't want certain terms I'm trying to avoid using.
Yeah, I mean, like you anonymous, so you can tell what you know. Like nobody knows who you are. So, and I know, once again, I don't like I said, a lot of this information, once again, is out there. Now, whether that information is true and exact, like I say, like some of the information has been confirmed, by people who talk about, like some of the things I've read, and some of guys who used to be in it and not, they will confirm those things. So I don't know how much you want to confirm or disavow, or like you said, you don't want to seem like you are taking up for the system. But of course, like
when I'm talking about the system, I understand that that's a system that I've been part of.
Yeah.
So when we understand the system that we presently find ourselves in, what the point I'm making is that the same system, when you look at, Freemasonry and those institutions, is the same thing when you're looking at the FOP. So when you see these state officials, who are taking oaths, you say these things, at the same time, you understand that the very system that you're talking about, that we live in, the structure of our society is based on these foundations and these principles.
But see, I don't take oaths. Like when I go to court and they say, I affirm, or when I go to speak before the city council, they'll, I don't do that.
Some people say,
they
don't swear.
Yeah, I don't put my hand. I don't do none of that. You know what I'm saying? So
I got that.
So some people will, like I said, I'm totally against, some of the most of the system, the way this thing is set up, because I know it's not set up by good people. Like the people who set up this nation were not good people. They came, they lynched, they robbed, they pillaged, they murdered, and they say, okay, well, these are the rules now. You have to follow. And these are systems, like you said, that are set up because I don't know. Once again, you can confirm or deny, but I've read that, almost every major president or every leader was a Freemason or whatever, had connections. So those are, once again, if you are part of that system, and once again, I will still stand on this government of America, the way things are ran, isn't kind of an evil system. to me.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Because I've seen people, you know, without food and people with food that say, well, no, we're not giving you food. You got to get it how you live. And so
Right.
that is a system that has been set up to keep some people on the top and some people on the bottom. And just like I mentioned a while ago, whereas, you know, if you have this knowledge, like the brother told me, well, you know, just like you said, right? This knowledge, you know, if I give you too much knowledge, if I see a brother out there struggling, right? Or I see a brother out there struggling and I got the answer to his problem, whatever the problem it is, and I don't give it to him, you know what I'm saying? If I don't take it to the side, well, you know, listen, brother, you doing everything right, but you just need this one thing. If you do this, you're gonna make it. But if I hold that from him and say, well, nah, I can't give you that until you know, hula hoop 3 times, or until you run around the building 7 times, until you do 5 jumping jack backwards, you know, while you reciting the Star Spangled Banner. You know what I mean? Like that doesn't seem good to me. You know what I'm saying? Like there shouldn't be a condition on whether you are going to. Now I understand what you're saying. Well, if you try to help some people, you can't help them. If you give, now that's understandable, but you know, everybody's not in that position. You know what I'm saying? Because I've tried to help people like who say they want to get clean off substances, right? But until they're ready to do that, you know, I'm not just going to take them in my house and, you know, give them a job and do that. But, you know, certain people that are in the position to be helped, and for, you know, the light bearers, or, you know, whatever, you know, as I've heard called, to withhold that help from people, that doesn't seem genuine to me, if that makes sense. Somebody said it's a pyramid scheme. Y'all joke too much. But see, that's what I'm saying. Like,
but the whole society is, and to be honest with you, bro, and I agree with you, and that's why one of the reasons why I wanted to call on, just to get my perspective. And like I said, if people had any, you know, questions, you know, I'll be open to answer to them.
All right, so we got a lot of questions, right? So we got a lot of. Somebody said, he says, when you said I'm me, ask him who he is. So that was one question when you said I'm me. So somebody said, ask him who you are.
I mean, I am. Like I said, it's self-explanatory. If you don't understand it, like I said, I know it's a pretty base statement or whatever. But to go into the labor is I'm made. I know I'm made in the image of the Most High. That's not as, you know, a dispute or a doubt in my mind. And like I said, even in saying that, you know, I know it goes down the rabbit hole. People like, well, who's the Most High and all this other stuff. Like I said, I don't want to really kind of like divert from the particular topic. But what I'm really meant when I'm saying I'm me is that people who know me outside of whatever, you know, affiliation, and to be clear, I'm not even active right now.
Yeah, I can tell you, like I said, just listen to you. I can tell whether we want to street when you a real one or you a stand-up guy. You know, so I can tell that, you know.
Like I said, and when even when, you know, using that term like a real one,
yeah,
all I'm saying is that I'm aware that, you know, each one of us are made in the image and the likeness of God. You know, we all have a purpose. We sit here for a reason. We have limited time to kind of activate that purpose. Right in this moment right now, my purpose might just be to be able to give you whatever information or light that I have, to be able to kind of shed some light on some of the things that's going on behind the scenes, or what we even perceive to be kind of like things involved as far as what they call secret societies, Illuminati, a lot of that.
Yeah.
I feel like a lot of it is more so a psyop to make you think that, oh, is this group over here or is this particular group? But a lot of it is a sleight of hand.
All right, so somebody asked, why did you join Freemasonry? And then the question mark for money. So,
for money. I don't know about the direct monetary benefit.
Okay.
I mean, but to be honest with you, so like I said, when I joined, I was in the military, and the story how I joined the military is a whole nother thing. I came from a military family, but I ended up reading this book by Albert Churchward called Arcane of Freemasonry. And if anyone you know kind of looks at it, it talks about a lot of the different Masonic symbols and their origins, and that's how I really kind of got my first interest into it. And then I was actually deployed to Sicily for my first tour, and when I was in Sicily, I ended up meeting a guy who was actually a part of a Masonic organization. And when I actually saw some of his paraphernalia and regalia, it kind of made me kind of interested. Like, you know what, I already have an idea about some of this stuff, but I don't want to necessarily rely on somebody else's understanding. I had to find out the truth for myself. And even in doing that, like I said, my time spent overseas kind of was revelatory as far as being understanding a lot of these bigger games that are being played as far as power and politics between whether it be Masonic organizations, the Catholic Church, international banking systems, the list goes on. But really what it was is to satisfy my own curiosity.
Okay. All right. And then somebody asked, does this institution descend from Cain? Because I know. Well, go ahead.
I will say this, and I can't give a direct no or yes. My suspicion is that there is a connection to the line of Tubal Cain. And, Tubal Cain, if you know the scripture, he was described as one of the first metal workers.
Yeah.
And I think they did the whole Noah movie where, he was kind of the antagonist, and he kind of passed down not only the knowledge of metalworking, but just all the ills of society, whether it be, crafting weapons and warfare, things of that nature. One thing, and just kind of have, I read a lot. I try to study. I try to, travel as much to kind of find out some of these things. One thing I will kind of say, not just about Masonry, but more so about like the structure of secret societies, is that when you have certain, let's say, institutions, like sometimes they refer to Masonry as a craft, right? So you might have a craft, whether it be metalworking, carpentry, building, Masonry as far as building, barbering, what have you. There are certain secrets within that craft that are about the, the technical aspects of that particular profession. You understand what I'm saying? So traditionally, a lot of these other roles within society, let's say the blacksmith, because they had their own, secret rites and secret rituals, they were always seen as competitors to the priestly class. Mm-hmm. And this kind of is at the foundation of a lot of the power struggles between what eventually evolved into the Catholic Church and Freemasonry, but it goes back to a lot of the squabbles between classes of so-called priests, or
the Knights of the Templar and all that stuff. What I'm saying?
Knights of Templar, Knights of Malta.
All those stuff. So let me ask you, because you keep going back to like the systems, right? The systems, and because somebody said and I guess when I was asking you about the secrecy of the organization and the rituals and the structure, you said, well, that is just like the society we was in. And remember when I said, well, the society we in is evil. So somebody said, so in response to that, so does that make it right? If you're set up, to hide secrets and to keep power, as the struggle, the power struggle.
Even when you talk about secrets, again, the scripture says that everything that's done in the dark will come to light, right?
Yeah.
And the Masons talk about, the light. So this is just me and my own personal beliefs. Like I said, the Freemasonry is just is again a tool that kind of gives me a lens of perspective about what's going on in the world.
Okay.
I think that we're now living in a time where it's like revelation in real time.
Yeah.
So a lot of things that used to be secrets are now being revealed to those who have the ability to see them for what they are. But if you don't have the sight, you know what I mean? You're not going to know what you're looking at. Just like, if you don't have, the ears to listen, you're not going to know what you understand. So if you haven't been kind of already initiated to some degree, then, if I give you the secrets, or if I give you, some knowledge, some light, as they would say, you probably won't misinterpret it. Or you might end up thinking, this is something pagan, demonic, the list goes on. And to be quite honest with you, a lot of our history, has been demonized, in that way, because it was constantly seen as something, pagan, demonic. This ain't, what Christ said when, you get into the Gnostic Gospels and, things like you said, the Catholic Church coming out of the Nile Valley. These were the foundations, of later Western Christian culture. Okay,
so let me ask you, because you mentioned something about the craft, right? You was like, they call that the craft, right? And a lot of people, once again, whether it's true or not, will associate that with
witchcraft.
Of course, right? So and then once again, I don't know if you saw the white brother speaking earlier. He was like, well, yeah, when I was getting into the Satanists and the occult, they told me to join two organizations. They told me to join the Mormons and the Masons. So, so when you talk about like different crafts, like you mentioned the blacksmith or whatever, but Another sector of society that calls their profession the craft is actors or Hollywood. Now, we all know what the craft, they say, well, I'm working on my craft. But then you got to go, what is a group of people who are doing a movie? What is that? A cast, right? So they use all that terminology. They casting, and what does, they say, a program. They're doing program. They're casting what spells when you watch these TV shows, and a lot of it that has been kind of exposed, if you believe it or not. But I know that once you start watching something, your mind goes within 30 seconds. Your mind goes into a hypnotic state once you start watching the television or something. So if you kind of equating it to that, then I can still see how some people would look at it. Okay, well, if you're going to that terminology, that craft terminology, that witchcraft, that casting spells, I forgot the other kind of words that go with it. Y'all can help me in the chat. But if you're kind of equating that to other things that are not so good in society, then I have to ask you, like this person asked, is this like another tree of knowledge of good and evil?
So what I would say in regards to the question specifically about the craft was just another analogy or allegory. To give another example to kind of clarify is, I'm a licensed barber. So as a barber, I can say I work on my craft. I'm constantly trying to get to a higher level of capability or performance. Even though I know I might be good, I might be proficient, I'm constantly trying to get better. So, in terms of when we talk about, masonry as a craft, you working on your craft, is really about you working on yourself. And, they'll have a term, what they call, the rough aster, which is basically a rock.
Yeah.
And the rock is supposed to symbolize you. And, your job is to kind of, they'll say, smooth out those superfluous corners, which is basically a fancy way of saying, all your imperfections, you trying to make those better. You see what I'm saying? You're trying to become a better person. So when I'm talking about the craft, I'm not necessarily talking about witchcraft or Hollywood or, even equating to that, even though I do personally believe that, there are Masonic and, esoteric influences within Hollywood. And,
people have admitted that,
right.
The music business and all of those things. So, when you try to, I guess, equate, this to that, then that's what people, are kind of saying, that doesn't make it right. How long have you been traveling, stranger? That's what somebody said.
Like I said, I got raised in 2014. I want to say I was raised in Sicily, and like I said, I kind of really was kind of like, and I don't want to be a sitting here later, but they tried to groom me for leadership. Whatever, but I really was like, what, I'm good where I'm at. I got a lot going on. Like I said, I was in the military at the time, so I'm forward deployed, and I got a lot of stuff going on at home. So really, what I did find, I could say about it was that it did help a lot with like networking, particularly on the military side, because but so.
That's what, and like so that's one thing I was considered like, because at the time I was like 26, 27. I had one foot in the streets and one foot, in the business world. I was selling real estate. And so it was like, well, yeah, man, shoot, if I get into this, I have connections. And, my brother told me, well, anywhere you go in the nation, you already have a brother. There's always lodge you can go to and this, that. And so I can kind of get that aspect. That was the only, but when it comes to, the secrecy or not knowing everything, and this is what I equate it to, right? See, right now I'm getting my real estate license in North Carolina, right? Mm-hmm. I'm getting my real estate in North Carolina, so I'm taking the class, right? And in that class is telling me everything that this business consists of, everything, my duties and responsibilities, the fees I'm gonna have to pay, my duty, what it requires to get a license. So saying all that, I know everything about this before I get in, right? Before I make the decision to take the state test, to pay my money, to join with a company, and to start doing this business. With Freemasonry, it's not like that. I don't know until I get in. Then I got to know a little bit more, just like you said. Well, I've seen all that. You know what I'm saying? So that right there is another reason where I can't You know what I'm saying? I can't get with that. If you can't tell me everything about this before I join, then there's no reason for me to join, if that makes sense. So
it makes sense. And again, and I think someone did ask again, for my reasons for joining. So I'll, kind of reiterate that I had already had an interest in certain things that kind of led me towards the peripheral Freemasonry, whether you talk about ancient history, anthropology, architecture, just trying to understand, the history of, the human civilizations, things of that nature. So I had already found myself kind of coming to certain, I would say like dead ends, just in my own personal journey, scholarship and studying. So like I said, this one particular book, again, Arcana of Freemasonry, by Albert Churchward, kept taking me back to ancient Egypt. And these are things where they're, pretty much saying is like, okay, these are, the things that they were, doing in the Nile Valley. And so it's like, okay,
exactly.
So, I've always had that inherent interest in Egypt and things of that nature. So the other thing that it kind of allowed me to take that was quite frankly, was just a leap of faith. My thing is like, again, this goes when I was saying I am who I am, is I'm secure in my knowledge of God. I know I'm a child of the Most High, so I don't walk with a sense of fear. Not to say I don't get anxious or, have the same, emotions that everybody else do, but it's like, just like when I joined the military, I know that there's certain inherent risk with that. You see what I'm saying? But it's a calculated step. So just with, with Masonry, I'm like, okay, I may not know everything as far as the secrets, but I know as far as, what I feel comfortable with. And I know like certain things, like even like case in point, I was in college. When I was in college, I never joined a frat or fraternity.
Exactly.
Even though I had a lot of family and family members who were in one, I just never thought it was me. But when, I ended up joining the military, I found that a lot of dudes who I already had, respect for and had, working relationships with were already on the square. So it was almost kind of like a natural fit. So it's like, okay, we already, know each other from work, seen each other around base. We have this additional connection. I didn't even know you on the square, but that's just another point of connection. So if there's a way I can kind of help you out as far as, you need something on my end, I'll try to go that extra mile to kind of, make it happen for you.
All right, so listen. I do got another caller to you. I want to get to this brother. Anthony Darl, I'm going to call you back. But let me run down these questions for you. You kind of give me the short answer, right? And then I'll get to this one major question I'll ask you.
Yeah.
Somebody said, what did you have to do to get initiated?
It's really just a ritual. Honestly, I say it reminds me, it's like some college frat boy shit.
Okay.
At the end of the day, and that's the best I could, kind of say about it. It's a lot of dumb juvenile, and probably depending on the guys who's, on the line and kind of like, putting you through will probably depend on what they make you go through. Like I said, I probably got a little easier just because I knew a lot of guys, who was kind of like, seeing me through.
All right, so listen, did you renounce the oath?
Renounce no, nah.
All right, okay, so what is the objective of the organization?
My personal idea, the objective of the organization is kind of twofold. I'll say I do think there's a latent objective, and I think there's like a deeper objective. I think the deep objective is, what people will call the New World Order. I would say the latent objective is, to make people better.
Okay, to make people better. Okay, so I think that's all the questions I got for you from the audience. But I do thank you, man. I do got to call my brother back.
Yeah, no problem, bro.
But last question though, because you said like you only went to the 3rd degree. Now there is somebody said, and somebody mentioned in the comments, most people unless they reach the 32nd or the 33rd degree don't really know what they're getting into. So what?
But I would say this. There are a lot of other houses of knowledge just besides Freemasonry, and there's a lot of other books. And I'm not being disrespectful, but I would just say, based on my own experience, what I'm telling you from somebody who's been there.
Yeah.
You're telling me something from looking on the outside. So unless you've done the research, unless you've done the traveling, unless you've done the scholarship to validate that opinion, I would say that you have nothing else to say. Well, this is something else they do, and you could say that you're a member of that organization, but otherwise you're really speaking on ignorance because you're speaking from an outside perspective.
I can respect that. I can respect that. But there's like, you know, some things about certain things that you are not necessarily a part of, though, right? That, you know what I'm saying? So I don't think it's this.
I've alluded to some of those things even with there, where it's like I do, you know, admit some alignment and even affiliation where you got these other organizations that may or may not necessarily be Freemasonic, but they have similar agendas. Now, whether that's due to infiltration, whether that's due to design, you know, what have you. But I do agree that there is, you know, elements of what we call the esoteric, Freemasonic, you know, what have you, secret societies within elements of the government, within elements of, you know, power structures that are manipulating the people, you know, to further ends. I contend that 100%.
Okay. Well, I certainly appreciate you, my brother. I thank you for the time, and call me anytime off air if you got some information to share with me, my brother.
Yeah, no problem.
Right, thank you. All right.
Yep.
All right. So I see a lot of y'all in the comments are not won't too happy, you know, with his answers. So I see, you know, I try to be respectful of all the callers. So, you know, but yeah, I didn't really get a lot of answers to, you know, a lot of my questions. Let me call my brother Anthony Darla back real quick, because I don't know if he was listening live and he had something to chime in about. We're going to see if he was listening or if he got some information for me.
Brother Richard Taylor, how you doing?
All right. Was you listening to the show live?
I sure was, brother.
Okay, so you live on the air. So I figured you had something to add to the conversation. Go ahead, my brother.
Well, years ago, I ran into a brother who was a 33rd degree. He told me some things. Anyway, the whole ritual, like you described it and said that you saw a witness, it's about the time, like I said, when we drove them out of the garden of Al-Kebulan. They were causing a problem in the garden. And we drove them across the hot burning sands of the desert. And we drove them up into the Caucasus Mountains and the caves, as you've heard and known so much about. It's not a mystery, it's true history. Anyway, Adam and Eve were in a damn dank cave. Adam was sobbing, he was distraught, and his wife Eve asked him, "What is wrong? What's the matter with you?" And he said, "Our skin is altered." Even the Muslim Quran, get a Quran, chapter 15, verse 26, tell you, God, what they call Allah, says, he told the angels, there's a time, remember, when I'm going to make human beings from potter's clay, black mud, altered. And he said, when I have made them and breathed my spirit into them, all you angels bow down. All the angels bowed except Iblis. And he asked Iblis, why wouldn't you bow to this man that I've made, you know, in my image and likeness, as it says in the Christian Bible? Iblis said, I'm not going to bow to them. You made me from fire, and you made them from black mud. Mm-hmm. God, Allah cursed them. Their curse is supremacy, hatred. Anyway, that's the mystery of the whole thing. The cable toll that you witness around the neck, if you look at the 15th card, the tarot deck, Baphomet has a man and woman with a chains around their neck. The cable toll.
Yeah, the cable
That's
toll.
the whole mystery of the devil. That's why when I text you a few times, if you look in the Oxford Dictionary of the English Language, it says white. White, W-H-I-T, is a cover word for W-I-G-H-T, which means demons. They practice demonology.
Okay.
But anyway, that's the mystery of it. It's plain and simple. They make things very confused, and, you know, they cover it with all this stuff, and people think, oh, man, trying to figure it out. It's very simple. Get lost books of the Bible.
The lost books of the Bible.
Lost books of the Bible or lost books of Eden. You will see where Adam was weeping because their skin had been altered.
So Adam, but so you mean Adam? Are you talking about the white Adam or?
Right. That's right. You get it on here. There's original Adam, us, and there's their Adam, them.
Okay. So and they didn't get their skin cursed until they got to the Caucasus Mountains, or were their skin already cursed when they was in the Garden of Abulakane?
Al-Kebulan.
Al-Kebulan. So
that's the original name of Africa. Instead of Africa, it was Al-Kebulan.
Okay, so the white people were already white when they were in there causing trouble, or they were causing trouble, so we sent them to the Caucasus Mountain, and then that's when they skin turned white.
Before they got to the Caucasus Mountains, meaning they're a mutation, albinos. If you notice, Africa has African albinos, but they have all the features. They have all the features of Africans.
Yeah.
But nevertheless, they don't have the melanin. But they're still African or black people.
Yeah.
So that's the scientific explanation of that. So they were already albinos before we brought them out of Al-Kebel land or the garden and marched them across the desert, because when you lose skin pigmentation, you also lose something of the divine cognition, put it that way. So they had started. That's why when I was with the Nation of Islam, I dropped out, because when Farah Muhammad came to them, he came and he said the devil, he mixed truth with falsehood, but he was a white man. Myself, I'm half myself. My father was Sicilian, I'm black. So I dropped out of the nation. I said, wait a minute, if white people are devils, how come Farah Muhammad was a devil himself? He came as a white man with straight hair and light skin. But anyway, they're albinos. The whole story of albinos.
So the people who were driven out of the garden were albinos. They weren't white people.
Yes, they were albinos.
Okay, so but what about the albinos that are still there? Because like I got a cousin who's an albino, and she's black.
The ones that are still there, they're in their natural habitat.
Okay, so the ones up there, they noses got thinner because the cold air, their hair got thinner because they got more hairy to keep them warm. Their lips got thinner because of something. I forgot why their lips got thin.
You remember years ago, you and I growing up, you heard the story of the abominable snowman?
Exactly.
That's what that was about. The abominable snowman.
Oh, it was about the white people in the Caucasus Mountains.
Yeah, in the Caucasus Mountains. That's right.
Okay, somebody said I think he means leprosy, not albino. But did you mean leprosy?
No, this ain't leprosy. This is the albinos, the mutation that occurred with them when they were in the garden with us. But the whole thing boils down to, that's what Chinese and all these people in India, all this hatred. There's two types of mutations. There's a natural mutation and there's an unnatural mutation. Natural mutations are us. Things that are slowly evolved over millennia and thousands and millions of years of time. Mm-hmm. And there's an unnatural. They're an unnatural mutation or disruption in nature. That's why the Egyptians even, talked about it in the Medu Neter. Neter means nature.
Yeah, the Medu Neter. Yeah, I've heard. I haven't really studied it, but I've heard Dr. Phil Valentine talk about it a lot.
Yes. So nature means nature. But anyway, that's what happened, and a disruption in nature occurred.
Okay, so as far as the modern day practice of it, because I heard, I just witnessed somebody in the chat say, yeah, everything started in Egypt, but they took it and hijacked it and made it evil and blah, blah. So what do you think about the modern day practice of it from, I guess the black people, which are mostly Prince Hall, and the white people who are the Scottish Rite? What do you think about the modern day practice of it? Or, what's your opinion of it, or what's your knowledge of? The
knowledge, that's a good way you put it. It's not an opinion. The knowledge or the truth of it is it's an aberration. They took our knowledge and our science and they reversed it. Like I said, the devil is an author of a lie. That's why they make everything secret. Like you said, what is in the darkness will soon come to the light. I had a brother years ago when I was in Orange County. We used to go to the Black History Parade. I was on their rostrum to speak. And one day I saw some Masons there and they had the gold collar on. These were high-ranking Masons, 33rd degree. And I talked to him. I said, brother, you have the Quran. You know the truth. Why do you go contrary to it? You know what he told me, Brother Richard? He said, in order to get anywhere, you have to lie in bed with the devil.
And a lot of people feel that way, though. A lot of people feel that way. So what about this? Because somebody, and I remember this, the evil scientist Yakub. Now, what is that? Oh, so that's just some mythology. Okay.
It's a myth. Because Yaakov is Jacob. That's us.
Yeah.
House of Israel.
Okay.
So when Farad came to them, to the nation, he lied. He said, I'm the Messiah. I'm Mahdi. I'm Allah. And found out his father Farad was born in New Zealand. Okay. His father was from East India. His mother was a white British woman. He did come and he cloaked it he cloaked it under language. He said his father was black from Mecca, his mother was white mountain woman. But what it is he was from India, but the Indians are highly prejudiced against us. But what he did was
India, you talking about the red dot Indians, the red dot forehead Indians.
Well, it's not about the dot.
I mean,
the original. Yeah, I know what you mean, but the original Indians are us.
Okay, yeah, of course.
Yeah, India was attached to Africa way before the continent split when it was Pangea. If you look at a map of Pangea, you see India snugged right up against Africa.
Yeah, everything still fits together to this day if you look at it.
Yes. So they know who we are. We're the Ancient of Days in the Bible.
So what?
Ancient of Days.
Go ahead. No, you go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, go ahead. Sorry, I don't want you to lose.
I'm just saying, like, so if they know who we are, and I guess the quote unquote Masons know who we are, then why not? Like I mentioned before, if they see the state of the black community and they say they put the nod and know we were the original people, they was this, that, and the other. Why not? Reveal that and uplift your people.
Because the devil is a liar and a murderer from the beginning.
Okay, so you saying it's an aberration?
Yes.
What somebody just made a valid point too. I just missed that.
Remember it said in the Bible, it says the devil comes posing as an angel of light. It means light skin. And remember in the Bible in Isaiah chapter 50, I believe, where Yahweh, I call him Olodumare. Olodumare. He says, I clothe the heavens in blackness.
Yeah.
Heaven is clothed in blackness.
Yeah.
But yet they make blackness an aberration.
Is that the black matter, the melanin?
Dark matter.
Dark matter. Right. Yeah. Like I said, I ain't really diving in deep because it's so much. Like there's so many different, ways to go with it. But I'm not going to sit here and say I know.
Yes, sir.
Everything. But I appreciate you. So that's the secret.
Yes.
Of who we are. So that's the original creation story.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay.
Al-Kebel land is the original name of Africa.
Now I've heard that before. Yeah.
Al-Kebel land means the garden, Eden. So we marched those people up out of there because they were causing disruption in the garden. So it's in our memory. It's way back there lost. But you and our people, now some of the things Farah Muhammad did mix truth with falsehood. He did tell the truth because even L. Ron Hubbard in Scientology wrote a book talking about the origins of man. He did mention where black people are 76 trillion years old.
Yeah. So are you saying Farah Muhammad was just a charlatan? He was a
he was.
Okay. So I got my brother from New Orleans finally calling in, and he's going to send me. So he's going to get. But I certainly appreciate you, doll. I might give you a call back, man.
Yeah, please do, man. Okay,
all right,
brother.
Peace.
God bless you the Most High and keep you safe. Peace.
Same to you. All right, so we got another perspective coming in. I'm gonna let my brother come in because he's been kind of looking for the live. I guess he finally found it, so he's probably going to give you a different perspective. Peace, my brother. You live on the air.
Yeah, I was when I was sending you messages, I thought I was sending them through my phone to the live.
Nah, you live right now. So you live on the account. Have you been listening to the different perspectives of the people?
Yes.
All right, so
the brother who spoke to you before, the one that just got off.
Yeah.
Everything he told you was correct. Now, when he told you everything he told you, hello?
I'm listening to you live. I'm listening to you.
I see you on my. You got like 5 or 6 different YouTubes showing the same thing. I'm listening to another one, but anyway. Okay, now what the first brother said was he was 100% correct. When somebody start asking him about something, when it's going into what happened when the doors are closed, that goes into privacy. Like I told you before, any Mason can tell you more than he can tell you. That's any Mason. It's up to that Mason to tell you what he could tell you. It's up to him. He could pretend like he can't tell you, but that's on him. Just like the brother told you before.
Yeah, well, the brother really ain't tell the first brother. He really ain't tell me nothing. He did a lot of babbling, as some people say to God, but he didn't really answer no questions. He did a lot of dancing, but that's in respect to the brother. But he didn't really. He's one tower babbling. Y'all stop. Go ahead.
Okay, I'm gonna say you say he dancing.
I mean,
I'm gonna counter that by saying this.
I just asked a simple question. Well, I can't answer that, but I will tell you this. You know what I'm saying?
He can tell. He can. Okay, we are sworn to privacy. We can't tell you. Just like we can't tell you things that's given to us. We are a club, like the Elks Club. The Elks Club. You familiar with the Elks Club?
Yes, sir.
They have things that they can't tell y'all. Any club have things they cannot tell y'all. It ain't got nothing to do with being a secret. It's private. Everything that happens in clubs is not everybody's business. It's for only club members. When the president of the United States have a meeting, remember it was Reagan. The media is supposed to go into all the president's meeting. Reagan kicked all of them out of a meeting. Remember? Well, you kind of young. I'm 65 years old.
Yeah,
if people are sworn to secrecy, you can't violate a promise. All it is a promise.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. But once again, if you believe in the scripture, it's just like you don't take no oaths.
We're not a religion.
But that's what I'm saying. So don't misconstrue what I'm saying. So because they said a lot of Christians are Masons, right? Right? Would you agree or would you not agree? Right? Yeah. So in the Christian, if they believe in the holy book, the scripture, which I'm not saying you have to, or this is not a debate of what's right or what's wrong. I'm saying if you believe in that book, which tell you to take no oaths, don't swear to no man, then that's against that belief.
It says that in one part of the Bible, and in another part of the Bible, it says if you take an oath, make sure that oath is honored.
All right. But once again, so people can make the case on both ends, and that's the Bible in its entirety too. Because one part of the Bible will say this, and one part of the Bible will say that. Because I can kind of agree with that. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know how to, once again say that's wrong. Yes, sir. Please.
Okay. Now, I've researched the Bible because I was raised as a Christian. I belong to no particular religious denomination. I believe in God, the God Almighty, the capital G, the ruler of all things. Anybody who don't believe there is a God is crazy. Why I say that? Because if you don't believe in the God Almighty, how you got here? You didn't make yourself. Your parents didn't make themselves. It has to go all the way back. Somebody has to be superior in order to create. That's why I believe in a superior being. Religion is man-made. I don't believe in religion. I believe in God.
I can agree with you. I can agree with
religion. You're speaking about religion. Mm-hmm. I don't believe in religion. I'm talking about me.
Yeah, I believe. Yeah, I don't believe in religion either. That's why I said that's. I mean, I kind of agree with you on that. I don't, because once again, that's man-made. There are over 4,000 religions in the world, right? Something like that.
So many.
So yeah.
And every last one of them. Every last one of them that's under the Christian religion falls under the Catholic Church, a sub-branch of the Catholic Church.
Well, I would say because the once again, so the
We
no,
getting off topic.
no, because don't I don't want you to say that, because that's not necessarily true, because the religion of the and I don't even know what to call it. I hate to say, like my brother said, we are the Israelites. So I hate to say Christianity, because the spiritual, the Messiah, the belief was way before the Catholic Church. So don't say we fall under it, because everybody don't believe that way. So you know what I'm saying. I don't believe that the Pope is the same as God and all those things. So I mean, if you want to say organized religions do it, once again, most people don't. But in the way the world is set up, the Catholic Church is the head of the Christian and all that stuff. Sir. But I don't subscribe to that. So don't put all of us in. All of the people who believe in a box. But go ahead. Go ahead. Yeah, let's not get off touch.
That's why I don't. That's why I said the reason I say I don't believe in religion, because you brought up the Bible.
Yeah, right? But that's a spiritual book. That's not a religious book. Now, some people will say that's a spiritual book. That's actually a Black history book, in my opinion. From my study.
I don't. The King James version of the Bible.
We're not talking about the King James version, though. I never mentioned the King James version. I got the Ethiopian Bible. You know what I mean? And there's so many Bibles before that. You know what I'm saying? That book right there is just a book that was put together by King James to use in what he wanted to do. So I get you on that. We ain't yet in the Bible, but the true Bible, the true scriptures are a history book, it's our culture book. Nevertheless, so back to I guess like once again, so many people will say, and I've heard this time and time again, once again, I don't know if you watched from the beginning where the white brother was up there talking about, when he started with the occult, they told him to join two organizations, the Mormons and the Masons, just because I guess evidently that was going to give him more knowledge. But I've heard people say that, once they get to the certain level, it is finally revealed. And you said that Lucifer was not, who people believe it was, but it has been revealed that at the end of it, when they reach the highest level, they're finally revealed that the God that they have been serving and worshiping is Satan, the devil, Lucifer, or whoever. That is what some have said. Now, once again, I'm not saying that's true. I'm just asking your thoughts about that and why people are saying that, who have actually, been in that sector. Yeah. Because I haven't been there. I'm just telling you what people who have said, and I can pull up some videos about it if you want me to. But go ahead.
Okay, now the guy was talking to this elderly guy. I don't know who he is, but I know what he's saying was not correct if he or was a part of a legitimate Masonic order, because everything above Blue Lodge has to follow the principle of the Blue Lodge. We have guidelines, although each a Pinkham body moving up from the third degree, like the brother said, everything above third degree is an honorary. Honorary don't make you what it is. It makes you accept it. These people claim over the third degree, they say they are what was this? I'm moving fast. Okay.
Anybody above the third degree, like I was telling the brother, earlier, like when people say they 33rd degree and 33rd and a half and this, that, and the other.
They say they are degrees, but they are, in actuality, they're not. Just like you can call a dog a house, that doesn't mean a dog is a house. Right or wrong?
But why would you call a dog a house if you know it's not a house? Isn't that deception?
It's not about right or wrong. It's about what you feel like doing.
I don't think that, because if I feel like going out and robbing a bank or killing somebody, that's definitely about right or wrong. That doesn't make it right. Wait a minute. No, but you can't say that. Like if you said that the brothers might call a dog a house, knowing that it's not a house, that's deception, though. That ain't about right or wrong. That is about right or wrong. If you deceive somebody, that's the wrong thing to do. Whether you're thinking about lying, you know what I'm saying? Whether you want to lie or not, that doesn't. Whether you want to do something, it doesn't have any bearing on whether it's right or wrong, my brother. I don't kind of get that.
Okay, let me rephrase it. Okay, I sent you the definition of every.
Hold on, real quick. Get that thought together, real quick. Hold on.
But
peace and love. You on the air.
Hold on real quick.
Hello.
You want to mute this?
Huh? Yeah, you should mute it because I can't hear you.
Okay, hold on.
Yeah. Okay. Go ahead.
All right, my bad. Okay, I was calling in because I got an issue with this whole life.
Okay. Go ahead.
Ain't said nothing about nothing. Okay. I ain't initiated to nobody. All I can tell you is that my grandfather was a 33rd Mason.
Okay.
And this is coming from the old school. I didn't see any goat heads in the house.
Uh-huh.
They were boring. They went to church every Sunday. They had order. The whole point of Grand Masonry was to teach men how to build something.
Okay.
You know, because think about it, the bricks and all that, stones, everything you got to work with. You got to know what you're doing. That's why it has the Grand Architect and the G.
Okay.
And I'm going to keep it real, like all this stuff, good and evil must exist in this world. It's the nature of reality. If you get it.
Yeah, definitely. The Isaiah 45 and 46.
That's what it teach you about. He was a 33rd degree Mason. And it's like, I hate when people aren't a part of something and they want to just automatically say it's the devil.
But see, but people, we're not. So if you was a part of something, you came out and said this what it is, we can't just automatically discount that. You know what I'm saying? Like there have been people who've came out of Masonry and said, well, nah, this is what it is. I found out this is what it is. So if a lot of people are saying the same thing, I'm not going off of what, just guessing. I'm going off testimony, right?
Right.
So if people have came out and said that.
So why can't a lot of them okay, look at it like this. You choose your own road with, if you do want to worship a religion or follow a religion, that's your choice. And like I said, they went to church all the time. They were Christian.
Yeah, but the Ku Klux Klan was Christian. That didn't mean nothing. The mob was Christian. You know what I'm saying? That don't mean nothing just because you profess something. Are you living by the tenements of that? You know what? George Bush was a Christian.
My grandparents did.
Once again, and my parents did too, but I can't speak for anybody. Slave owners were Christian. Does that mean that they was doing the right thing? So we can't go off of what somebody professes with their mouth. You know what I'm saying? But and once again, I don't doubt that your grandfather was a good man. Just like I said at the beginning, I don't know if you've been listening. My Uncle Ted, he died earlier this year. Great man. I found out he was a Mason when he died. Right? I didn't know he was a Mason when he lived. So that part of his life was secrecy. I know a lot of people who live a public life, not saying your grandfather or not saying Masons in general. I'm just saying people who live a great public life, but in private, there are all sorts of debauchery. There's all sorts of, you understand what I'm saying? So it could be good on the surface. And once again, I'm not saying it's not or not. Once again, I'm just relaying information that I've studied. So
like from what I've seen, I don't know if it's different now, because like I said, this is old school. This was back when I was younger. And trust me, I was a nosy little kid. I always rumbled through all that junk. I didn't see no go heads. I ain't seen nothing in no glasses.
But I mean, so that's what I'm saying. So like, John Wayne, John Wayne Gacy was a serial killer. He dressed up as a clown every day, where they found about 20 people under his house. So you know what I'm saying. So you know, Ted Bundy was a straight up banker or something, but he was going out every night killing people. No, I'm not saying. I'm not.
Even with it, okay, look at it like this. Okay. I'm gonna put it to you like this. A lot of your athletes are Masons. Are they evil?
Once again, I'm not.
If people worship them,
I don't think.
It all the way real.
I don't think I've said Masonry was evil not one time. So don't. I mean, I don't know why you would say or ever. I haven't said it was evil not one time.
It's the devil's evil. It's not. It's what you make it. It's what the person make it. Like it's just like anything you know what I'm saying. You can make anything evil, and I don't even believe in the devil like that. If you still thinking this logic in 2026, something is wrong. The evil is the person, not the devil. That's the evil within the
okay,
person.
I can rock with you. I can rock with that. I can rock with that.
I don't even think like the things that Satan even did in the Bible. There's men on this earth that's way eviler than him.
I can rock with it. Once again, like it's like you know, like if God said, you know, the kingdom is within you. He said, y'all are gods. You know what I'm saying? So whether it's evil or the capacity, let me say, the capacity to do good or evil is within all of us. So, you know, it's
what I see it as, they use a lot of stuff from voodoo, whatever you want to call it. They use all that in religion.
Is that good or bad? Is voodoo good or bad?
It depends on how you use it.
Okay, well, once again, like I haven't studied it. You know, I grew up, of course, in the church, so they said, "Well, they put that voodoo and those spells on you." Once again, I haven't.
Because
you know,
they know it works.
Okay, well, once again, I
know it works.
I just don't want to make nobody mad to put it on me, so I don't mean no disrespect to nobody. I don't want to wake up with a chicken foot as a lip.
Everything spooky to keep you away from it.
Yeah, of course.
You using your own spirituality.
Yeah.
You were your spirituality. You was what you make it. This is the thing. I used to be Christian and stuff like that. I used to go to church, but I was running into too many devils at the church.
Exactly.
They are called
But hold on real quick. We can hold on real quick. Let me see what this person got to say.
Okay.
Hello?
All right. Hey, I'm glad I got on. Are you still on live? Is this the right?
Yeah, we still on live. How you doing, sir?
I'm doing good. Hey, brother, I appreciate everything you're doing. I found your channel a couple months ago. And but long story short, the last lady that got on, I want to respect everybody's views. I want to respect everybody's beliefs. And I just want to say that personally, off rip.
Okay.
We can't like when it's a serious conversation or something like that, like we can't be far-fetched because I don't know no LeBron James. I don't know no celebrity. I mean, the thing about it is and I got to the live late.
Okay.
And I agree with everything. And like even the not like I can't say I agree with everything like that, but I agree with everything to the extent of like when a person has a question and it can't be answered. Like I agree with the sense of like, why can't you give me an answer? I agree with why do I have to do certain things? I agree with is everybody evil? No, not everybody's evil. Like I commented in the comments, it takes one cop to ruin the whole vision or the whole good standings of a police force. But at the end of the day, when it comes down to it, I have personally, and I'm not a Mason, but I've done a lot of research and I have met a lot of Masons and I've asked my questions. Sometimes I've gotten a type of aggressive or like a standoffish response without any words being spoken because of my question. Now, I respect the Masons. I respect.
What was the question that you asked?
Bro, one time I asked, I was like, because I'm not going to lie, I've been approached and I've had a couple of opportunities, but I got scared. I can't even tell you why I got scared, but I got scared. And one time there's a neighbor by my mom's house, and he has the emblem on his truck. And he's seen me pass by. Like, I worked out over my mom's when I was staying with her. And so, like, but the long story short, I went up to him one day when he was outside in his driveway, and I was like, hey, brother, would you mind me asking you a question? And I was basically what I asked him. I was like, was there ever a time when you were joining that you felt scared? And I don't know if he didn't. He had a posture like he like, huh, if I was a person, you could get it, and it wasn't like he was offended or angry or ready to hurt me, or I ain't afraid of it, But at the end of the day, he didn't say anything. And if I could show you his gesture that he made when he turned to me after he understood what I said and what I was talking about, I got the message. Now, that type of stuff, I agree. When you have an organization, you don't let everybody know what's going on. When you have something going down, it's detrimental to your organization to let everybody know what's going on. But then, like, there's certain things, like I saw the video that you posted about this conversation, and I just joined this live. There were certain things that you were saying about, like, for instance, one big thing, some of these people's family members brought their family in, and they probably don't have to do certain parts of certain rituals, or they probably get the insider, like, do this to do that, so you don't have to do that. Like, that's another thing. Then I've also done a lot of research to where one of the things that I know is that you don't have to, you have to believe in a higher power, but you do not, it doesn't matter which one, to an extent. It doesn't matter to which one.
Yeah, and that's so but some people believe, just like the brother, you was late. So there was a brother who was in there and said, okay, when they asked me, did I believe in God? I said, yeah, but they didn't know the God I believed in was the devil. Right? And so when you mixing all that, like, he was an occultist. He said, okay, and the people who, when he started getting to the occult, they said he needed to join two organizations. He needed to join the Mormons and the Masons, right? And so with that, like you said, a higher power, some people believe in, the devil as their higher power. So with that is a, but let me answer this call, my brother. I appreciate you for calling in. All right. Okay. Peace and blessings. You live on the air. Hello? Okay, let me get back to the sister. Hello? Hello? Oh, she must put me on hold too. Hello? Are you still there?
Hold on. I had it on mute. Sorry. Okay. You hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So what was I gonna say?
Hold on, just hold on real quick. Let me see what this person got to say. Hello?
Hey, this is
Hello?
Hey, I'm here. Can you hear me?
Hold on real quick. Who is this?
This is Oracle Queen in the chat.
Oh, were you talking earlier, or this your first time on?
This is my first time on.
Okay, Oracle Queen. Yeah, you've had. I haven't been able to, to read all of them. But okay, what did you have to bring to the discussion?
I didn't say in the chat that I had family members as Masons and Eastern Stars, and the relationship that I was in. Man, these people are evil. I understand you have to take up for family members or whatever, but the experiences that I've had with these people have not been good. Like, they will absolutely ruin your life.
Okay, well then y'all hear this, and I think the ladies on the other line, she said totally opposite. That her grandfather was a Mason, and she didn't see anything wrong with it. So this is what I'm talking about, right? Two different interpretations. So what do you mean by that? Give us the short version.
Okay, well, I can give you a very good example of what I'm speaking of. When I got with this guy, he was calm, cool, he was sweet, charismatic, showing me he cared and all of this, and then all of a sudden, I said, like 2 years in, everything switched, and he wanted to control. He wanted to tell me what to wear, push my family pretty much away from me, my friends, everything. It was like a control manipulation tactic. He would talk down to me, and you know, it was just he wanted to have control of every aspect of my life.
But now that doesn't have to be with him being a Mason, though. That just be he's just a There's somebody in the chat said that can be personal. That doesn't, you know what I'm saying? He was just a bad guy like that. There's guys who are like that are not Masons, though. If that makes sense.
Okay. I found that. No, I found out. I totally understand what you're saying, but this guy was very manipulative. I saw when I first met him, I saw this scar over his chest, and then as we were together, I found his book, the Masonry book, and I read it, and I can't say, I'm not going to say what I saw in the book, but it was some stuff in that book.
Yeah.
Who told me that I wouldn't be able to understand what they did because you actually have to be in it to understand, but all of the manipulation that he showed me it coincided with what they had to do within that book. And a lot of the guys that he would hang around with, whether they all have that same mark over the over the top of their heart, over their heart. They all have that mark. So they do rituals. They have different levels, and on every level they do something.
So
y'all can believe me or not believe me, but it absolutely has something to do with Masonry.
I appreciate you, my sister. Thank you so much. And I believe you, though. I believe you. Okay. Let me answer this call, sweetheart.
All right.
Thank you for calling.
You're welcome.
All right. Peace and blessings. You live, Indiana.
What's going on, my brother? How you doing?
Pretty good, man. How you doing? Thanks for calling in.
No doubt. I just want to address not the last lady, but the lady previous to that was talking about her grandfather, good of a man he was, and all that stuff. And you know, Mason, he was a 33rd degree Mason. Well, I want to say to this lady, if your grandfather was a 33rd degree Mason, and I'm gonna tell you like this: he wasn't no Christian, and he blasphemed the Lord. Ask me how I know, because I'm a former Mason.
Okay.
I'm a former Mason. Every man on my mom's side of the family and my dad's side of the family were Masons, and that's how I got introduced to Freemasonry. Now I'm not gonna reveal no secrets or none of that. But I discovered what Freemasonry is when my great uncle passed away. His daughter gave me all of his books.
Uh-huh.
I was a master Mason, 3rd degree Mason, and I read some of those books, and it made the hair on my arm raise up, the hair on my body raise up. So I went ahead and just bowed out of Freemasonry.
Now, did you have to do a ritual to get out? Because I seen somebody say they had to do a ritual to get out, or you just stopped paying dues. Because that was somebody said. Well, they said my grandfather was a Mason, but he got out when he became a preacher. I'm like, well, she just said he stopped paying his dues when he became a preacher. So,
actually, when I first joined the lodge, you know, as a master Mason, that's 3rd degree Mason in the Blue House. Well, I was going through my initiation during getting my second degree. It was a guy. My lodge was full of correctional officers, police officers, and stuff like that. And one of the brothers in the lodge became a preacher, and if he did do something, get out, I don't know about it. You know what I'm saying? Because some things that they didn't even reveal to us because we weren't masters, if that makes sense to you.
Yeah, I mean, I know there's different levels, and that's one thing I can't. You know what I'm saying? It's almost like I hate to say it, but it's almost like a game. You know what I'm saying? That's the only reason, or fraternity. Like, you know,
that's more like it.
I know, because a gang sounds, you know what I'm saying. But I mean, when somebody like somebody told me, if I had one of those G's, like I said, I don't know if you watched the first video, so I had a big painting of the square and compass and the G and some big hands, and I just had it on my wall because it matched my furniture, right? Now I had started doing a little studying, but so they was like, brother, now if a brother was seeing me or one of those stickers on my cars, and they found out that I was a Mason, that they could do bodily harm to me. Now that sounds like a gang to me. You know what I'm saying?
They probably, I mean,
hey, I'm just telling you what I was told. I can't say if it's true or not.
If I would have seen you and I would have approached you and I would have asked you a series of questions, then you didn't. I would have asked you one question. If you wouldn't have got it right, then I would have asked you, hey, it's probably best if you take that off.
But see, that's gang. That's gang mentality, though. No matter how would you had said it, you know what I'm saying? That's sort of like if I had the little red flag on my bandana because it just matched my clothes, and somebody come up to me and ask me, you know, do a hand signal, and I couldn't do it. You know what I'm saying? Hey man, I suggest that's gang mentality. Wouldn't you agree?
I mean, we can say. I wouldn't say a gang mentality, but why would you want to have an emblem on your car or on your wall?
Once again, because maybe I didn't know. Like I said, I didn't know. Like when I had it on my wall, I had just started really looking, but I didn't even think, because the painting was so pretty. I got it from an African store. I was just getting into my, you know, my black consciousness stuff. So I went to the African store. It was gray. It matched it had the gray frame and match. So I'm not thinking about, oh, that's the Masonic symbol. And so the brother came to my house. He looked on the wall. He said, "Oh, you a traveling man, huh?" And I'm like, what you talking about? You know what I'm saying? Then he pointed to the picture. Then it sort of came back to me. I was like, that is the square. You know what I mean? So, but he didn't do me like that. That's when he started trying to recruit me. You know what I'm saying? That's what he started doing when he seen it. But you know, it's. I mean, I don't. Why? Like you said, a brother who might wear a bandana. What you mean? Why he want to be cool? He want to match his shoe, or he want to think like, you know, he want the ladies to think he tough. You know what I'm saying? There's many different reasons. Or I might want to put the sticker on my car so when the police see it, they might not stop me. You know what I'm saying? So there's many different reasons.
Yeah, that's true what you said.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah, like because like
at the same time, if you do get pulled over and you got that on your car and the police ask you a question and you don't know how to answer that question, then you're gonna get a ticket.
See, that's the thing. So that's what I'm saying. So it's like, and that's one of the reasons I was considering. Okay, well, I can go to court and I can rub my elbow twice and pat my hair and tug my ear twice, and I can get out of this charge. You know what I'm saying? Those were things that enticed me to really start considering. Okay, was this? You know what I'm saying? But then I had to look at the others because like I told my brother earlier, look, I'm taking a real estate class. I'm learning everything that real estate involves before I pay my money and get my license and all that. With Masonry, I can't do that. I have to be in it, and somebody has to guide me along and open up this door and unveil this light, and I have to, you know, do the hokey pokey and turn myself around before I know what's going on. For me, that's not, you know what I'm saying, that's not a, you know what I'm saying, but for somebody else, once again, who are, you know, for whatever, like you said, whether it's the family aspect, whether it's, you know, the traditional aspect, whatever aspect somebody would want to do it, you know, I'm not knocking it, but I'm just bringing the conversation because if you heard the last lady say, well, no, I was in it. Oh, matter of fact, you said it, right? Did you say it was evil, or was that the last couple?
Oh, yeah, the last lady, she was talking about,
yeah,
I think her husband or something.
Yeah, so you saying what? So what are you saying actually about it? Just to sum it all up. I do got the lady on hold. She been patient. Thank you so much. I got to get back to her and let her finish. So what is your summary of the conversation or the
as far as the lady you got on hold, she loved her family. She loved her grandfather. I'm sure they were good, upstanding men, and probably did a lot in the community. You know, we fed people. We did all kind of stuff, donated, raised money. But what goes on behind those doors, you know, you have no clue. And you really shouldn't speak on something that you have no clue about.
Yes, sir.
Because you can guide somebody by her saying what she's saying, how great her grandfather was and all that. You can guide another great man into an organization that's I don't even want to say it.
Yeah, go ahead and dance, baby. You dancing, you tap dancing now, but go. It's good. No, it's good.
I wouldn't recommend no black man or woman to become an Eastern Star or any black man to become a Mason.
That's all I needed to hear right there. That you added a lot to the conversation, my brother, and I so appreciate you. I respect you. And I hope nothing but good comes to you. All right.
Appreciate it.
I appreciate you, my brother.
Appreciate everything you do, man. I watch you every day, bro.
Thank you, my brother. Appreciate the support.
Yeah.
All right, my sister. Thank you so much for holding on. I know. I got like 3 or 4 calls, so I appreciate you. So what did you think about the man who just? I know you was listening to him.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, The Matrix. That's all I'm gonna say.
The Matrix. Explain now. You tell me what you mean by that.
And this is The Matrix, is which a part of what we want right now.
I never watched The Matrix, so I don't really know what people.
Gotta watch The Matrix.
I don't. Once again, I just couldn't watch it. It didn't interest me. I can try to watch it today, and I probably end up picking up a book in the first 15 minutes because it's just it to me it was like sci-fi, and I can't watch sci-fi or something like that. So maybe I'll try.
I'm concerned that we don't get to enjoy life, because when you say something like that, listen, just get into it. It's parallels in there.
I can kind of concept. I get the concept. Oh yeah, we're all in the Matrix, and the guy took the red pill and the blue pill, and he looked in the binoculars, and he got to sit down, and it was I couldn't really,
Look at the parallels though. Look at the red and blue pill.
What's
red and blue?
I don't even know what the red and blue. Yeah, everything. I guess.
Hot and cold is red and blue. Look at your sink right now.
Who?
I'm gonna break it down for you.
Hot and cold, red and blue, Bloods and Crips, Democrats.
Right? That control your water temperature, right? Don't that balance it out?
Okay, give me some more. Give me some more.
Come on. Bloods and Crips.
Okay, we are Republicans and Democrats. Come on.
It all coincides with each other if you get it. I need you to see the big picture.
All right, give me the big picture. See, and this what I don't like. Tell me what you want me to know. Tell me what you want me to know. Like I can't solve the riddle. Just tell me what you want me to know.
First, like the Masonry goes, like I said, my grandfather was a 33rd, good man, Christian, died a veteran. He worked for the government. Like I said, he had his blueprints in there. He taught me stuff. He was a housing inspector. So he taught me so much about just construction and the way stuff should look and everything like that. That's my memories. That's my childhood. I don't remember drinking any goat's blood. So I don't know what these people talking about, man. But
nobody ever said that, though. I don't think nobody ever said it.
Speaking it, I can feel it. I can feel it. Now, the only thing I'm gonna say, my grandmother became an Eastern Star because of him. And when she passed away in 2012, they were part of her funeral. They did a beautiful ceremony.
I've seen that. I've seen those things.
It's that's what I'm saying. Like, this is the thing with the Mason and the Brotherhood. You complain. A lot of people sit around, and I see this all the time with my brothers. I have males in my family. You want to complain about stuff, but you don't want to be a part of nothing that's going to get you ahead. That's the whole point of it. And it's like with anything, Black people, we going to make it our own. I don't know how those other chapters operate. I don't know if they're into doing all that crap. That's on them. All I'm saying is that my grandfather was old school. And I wouldn't be the woman that I am today if it wasn't for that guidance.
Yeah.
You understand?
And so
it's respectability. It was with them. It was never. It's not about all this goofy crap. All this bling and all this goofy mess.
Let me tell you how I agree with you, right? Just like you said, the Masons made your grandfather a better man, or made you who you are, right? So just like a lot of people have stuff to say about Christianity. I don't even like to use the word, right? But my father, he was on heroin, he was robber, stealer, he was just terrible life. But at the age of like 22 or something, he got saved, started going to church. From then on, my father he's raised 3 children, opened his own church, always was at home, no women calling the house, no drunkards. They've been married still today, 52 years, right? And so his belief in that religion, this Bible, made him who he is today, and partially made me who I am today, right? Now, but another Christian, you've seen some of these preachers out here, right? Doing all this stuff, cheating on their wives. So I can't, what I'm saying is I can't put my father in that. I can't judge my father by those people who are doing wrong, right? Just like maybe I can't judge your grandfather by another Mason who is doing wrong things, right? So this is what I'm saying. Like you said, there's duality. There's red and blue. There's good and everything. There's some brothers who turned to Islam after they robbed the bank and did a whole bunch of stuff. Now they are living a life that makes them makes their family better. Am I going to say, well, no, you shouldn't believe in Allah because Christianity is way? No, if Allah is going to make you do the right thing, there's no way I can knock that. If you become a 5%er, if you become a nation of gods on earth, and that makes you to stop beating women, to stop selling drugs, to stop shooting people, who am I to come by and say, well, no, you can't, man, the only thing is, if that's working for you, that's working for you. Now, at the end of the day, when everybody die and we stand before whatever we stand on, then we'll know the truth, right? You know what I'm saying? But I can't say... I can
tell you about that a little bit, working in healthcare, because I help people cross over, right?
You help people cross. Wait, you mean? Don't tell me you Dr. Kevorkian over here. You talking about you help people cross over? You remember Dr. Kevorkian? He was the one that people went through.
I didn't say that. I'm in healthcare. I'm there. I'm turning their body. I'm taking care of them while they pass away.
Okay, all right. You said you help them.
So this is my thing. This is my thing, and I take this to heart. Every time somebody died, I always crack that window and let their spirit out.
Okay.
I don't care who judge me and call me crazy or whatever. That's your evil demons.
I believe you.
Protect them on me.
I believe
I'll
you.
let that, and I'll just be respectful. And this is what I'm going to tell you: when people get close to the end, they start seeing things.
Exactly. I've been there.
Family members, and they talk to people, and it's just amazing because they're in a fixed state. Like they don't even look at you. They're looking up at the ceiling usually.
Hey, I was laying on the ground, having a stroke. And I literally, I know what it feels like right before you die, just to say that, you know what I'm saying? Like it was a peace that I could never explain. Like it was so peaceful. So I get that. But sister, I appreciate your I do got to let somebody up online, but I thank you for being patient. And I appreciate your input, and I have no doubt that your grandfather was a great man. So don't once again, I can't, that's why I'm having the conversation, because we have people like yourself that's like, no, they were great people, and then we have people who are like my man calling in.
Don't throw the baby out with the bathwater.
I got you, sweetheart.
Black Dot.
Yeah, Black Dot. Shout out to Black Dot.
YouTube University, y'all do your thing.
All right, thank you, baby.
All right, bye-bye.
All right. What's up, my man? I'm sorry. Thank you for being patient too, man.
Yeah.
Okay. So you got to go. Yeah, you got to be quick though, because we got some other people who want to go in. We can't go down the whole, kind of.
Roger that. Okay, you said a lot a few minutes ago when you told the lady that there's good and bad people and everything. You are 100% right. But when people think about Masonry, they use Masonry as being bad, not the individuals. When somebody say Masonry is bad, they're talking about everybody that's members. Just like if every judge is not corrupt. They don't say every judge is corrupt. They say a particular judge. But when they find people that's corrupt, they use the craft. They put us all in the same bucket. That it's not right. Every time they attack one person, they don't attack that person. They attack the craft, and it's not right. You got, just like you got good doctors, you got bad doctors. They don't attack the medical profession, they attack the doctor.
I got you.
If you got a mason,
hold on real quick, brother. Hold on real quick. Peace and blessings.
Hello.
Yes, you live on the air.
Hi, this is Wisdom Reborn. I got questions, I got answers, I got comments.
All right, well, just let me get my brother. Let him finish,
Okay,
and I'm coming right back to you. Go ahead, my brother. I'm back with you.
Okay, yeah. It's not right. Just like you have crooked judges, they don't attack the job, they attack the individual. But when they talk about a bad Mason, they attack the craft. When you have a bad judge, they don't attack judges. They don't attack the job, they attack the individual. When it comes down to Masons, they don't attack the individual, they attack the craft. You got bad people and everything. But we have bylaws. What you said earlier, I thought about what you said when I told you that they wouldn't tell you to do something that you're not supposed to do. What I should have said is every master mason is the same. Only time a master mason is higher than any other master mason is the worshipful master. That's when the lodge is conducting business. He's sat in his seat. He wears his hat. That's the only time he's above any other mason. Once he leave out of that seat, that hat come off. He dropped down to a regular mason. Can no mason tell you to do anything? It doesn't matter how long he been a mason. It doesn't matter how high he is in a Penton body. All masons is the same.
All right, so let me ask you.
No higher than other.
Let me ask you, because that brought something that I haven't addressed, like because the young brother who was telling me about it, he was like, yeah, man, my past master called me. What's a past master? What's that mean? What's a past master?
A past master is a position that's underneath the worshipful master.
So
if something happened to.
So that's what I'm saying. So when he was like, my past master calling me, I got to do something like this. Like that literally what, you know what I'm saying? He was like, my past master called, so I got to go, basically.
That's business. That's business.
So what did you mean by business? So the business could be, okay, I need you to come and do this because you are under me. And so I need you to come do this.
He's not, no.
Like this is something that I witnessed with my own two eyes. Now he was like, go ahead.
I'm telling you how it went.
Okay.
Only reason he can tell him to do that is it was dealing with something that has to do with the fraternity. Now, in saying that, if he would have refused to do it, all right, this is fraternity business.
So once again, what business is so important that I got to leave my family or leave what I'm doing? That once again, like I told the brother, that sounds like gang activity. You know what I'm saying? If you don't do what I need to do because it's business, you know, whatever that business is, you know what I'm saying? And once again, I don't know what the business is, but once again, if somebody, so listen to me, right? So I've been in the streets, right? So if somebody, if my cousin over here, we cooking dinner, we having a family function, right? And then he get a phone call. Oh man, that's my big homie. I got to go handle some business. Do you think I look at that in a positive manner? You know what I'm saying? You got to leave your family if you don't know. Do what your big hat, because it's business, whatever quote unquote business it is. That's a good thing. I don't agree with it. You know what I'm saying? I don't agree with it, but if that is a part of what you said, the organization, the fraternity, and I forgot to mention that. I remember that quiet as day. Oh, that's my past master, man. I got to go. Like, what you mean you got to go, man? I got to go, man. You know what I'm saying? I can't. That can't be me.
You don't know what it was he had to do. What if it was something that he had to do that was important and he forgot it?
Whatever it was, right? Me as a man, I cannot be at the beck and call of anyone. You know what I'm saying? Like, I got a daughter here, right? I got a daughter. She comes before me. I run a business. So you gonna be to tell me I got to put down my business that I'm running that pay my bills to go over here because this guy is my past master, whatever that means. What do you mean? I literally tell it it's no blowing out of proportion.
You blowing it out of proportion.
I saw what I saw though. I mean you can explain it. You can explain it how you want to explain it. But
you don't know what was going on with them.
Once again, I don't have to know. When another man called me,
that's when you lean into your own understanding.
No, I listen, God gave me understanding. If another man called me and I gotta stop what I'm doing, and he ain't my daddy or he ain't a family member in dire need, nah, I don't want to be a part of that.
Let me ask you this. Okay. Me and you cool. All right? I'm doing something. You call me on the phone and you ask me to do such a thing for you. And I'm talking to somebody else. If I feel enough for to go do that, I don't have to explain to you what's going on. If I don't explain it to the other person who I'm talking to, when you call me, they can lead into their own understanding. But me and you know.
But the difference between what you saying is you're not obligated to do it. You're not obligated. If we and you just cool, I'm like, bro, man, come over here. Man, I need some furniture movement. I can't do it. All right, I'm gonna hang up and call somebody. Wait, no, you can't. What do you mean? You just he was obligated to do it. What do you mean? You know, I got it. Hey, man, I got to get to another caller because you're not making sense. You literally. This is what you said. If me and you cool, and I got to do something, it's not about explaining whatever it is. It's about the obligation to be able to do it. It's not about explaining why you got to do it. I don't care what you got to do.
All Masons is the same. All Masons is the same. Only time somebody has authority, one Mason have authority over the other Mason, other than the worshipful master, if you're doing something that will bring a frown upon the Masonic order, he has the right to tell you, don't do that. And if you continue to do it, he can report you. And this, any Mason.
Well, you just moved the goalposts. I'm talking about having to do something. I'm not talking about not doing something that you don't supposed to be. It does. Once again, it don't even matter. That's besides the point what he had to do. Whether he had to go build a wall for the fraternity, or whether he had to go help a brother get out the mud, or whether he had to come pay his dues that he forgot last week. If he has to come at somebody beck and call, you know what I'm saying? Whatever it is.
See, that's you leading into your own understanding.
Now that's me standing on my own 2 feet. that's what that is. It's me standing as a man who don't.
He had to do that, or else. Did he tell you that?
Brother, I can look and see. Once again, just like I can look and see, like I got real good intuition. That brother was like, I gotta go. So he didn't have to say it. You right. I don't know. I'm 40. I'm 47 years old for nothing. Right? I don't know nothing. Right? You know what I'm saying?
I'm not saying that. What I'm saying
okay.
Is what was going on with them two guys is not how it is in the fraternal order.
All right.
And it's just the way it is.
Yes, sir.
What was going on with them two is not how it's ran.
All right. Well, I mean, once again, I just know he said that's my past master. I gotta go. Whatever the reason was, you know, and maybe you said, like I said, I'm blowing it out of proportion, but you know, that's just one of the things that just came to mind when you mentioned, you know, the most worshipful master. And, you know, once he get off the throne, he's not above anybody, but that guy wasn't on the throne that time. But when he called him, you know, so
I sent you a whole lot of stuff.
And of course I was at the grocery store. No way I could have read all that by the time I was going to do the show.
Just read it, and you're gonna understand what we don't have enough time to talk about. You'll understand. I have it all laid out. But I'm telling you, the guy did not have the authority to do that. And if you got that impression, you got the impression wrong. If it would. Please.
So what about them saying, okay, this the last one. I gotta go. What about this one? The one that said, listen to me, my brother. So what about the oath that the brother said? Well, if I tell this secret, they will cut my throat and pull my tongue out. What's that about?
That's symbolism. That's not how it really is.
Oh, okay. All right.
I told you our ways is ancient, man. You try to take not you in particular. Y'all try to take ancient ways and bring them into modern days.
Yeah.
You can't do that. We nothing other than a fraternity. We nothing other than a club. We nothing other than a fraternal order. We nothing other than a charitable organization. That's all we is.
So,
and all of these.
What about the people who?
Crazy.
But what about the people who have been a part of it and, you know, went higher, or you said there's no higher, but the ones who have been a part of it and came out have said different. What about those people? We just take them as a
different clubs. Remember I said that's different clubs? You got evil people in everything. You got evil people in the church.
No, they're not talking about. No, listen to me, my brother. They're not talking about an individual person. They were talking about the whole entire organization. So that's not they you know. And I can, once again, if you watching the video from the beginning, you know what I'm saying. Like there's so many people who have came out. You heard the brother right there a few callers ago said, "No, I wouldn't do. I was in it, and I'm gonna tell you." It's evil. That's what he said. You know what I'm saying? So once again, so you can't.
Double statement. The guy who said he wouldn't recommend anybody to be an Eastern Star or Mason.
Yeah, you heard that right.
See, he's putting all Eastern Stars and all Masons in the same category. Everybody's not the same.
Definitely.
Just like you know good Masons, judge them from how they is, and then judge what they're part of. You could tell how good they are because you know them. And if they're good as people, why would they join an evil organization?
All right, so let me ask you, were there good mobsters? Were there good mafia members that went to church and everything? That could be a good mobster members, right? But would you agree that the mafia? I'm just asking. This is a hypothetical. Would you agree that the mafia is an overall bad organization?
Yeah, but right. Them going to church, what that have to do with it?
No,
they went to church because they felt like going to church. What that have to do with them?
You're not hearing me. You didn't hear what I said. The church had nothing to do with it. I'm saying that there were. Would you say that there were good mobsters? Would you say that it was a mobster who was good, who didn't kill anybody, who lived by the rules and all those things, right? Or whatever. Well, a good whatever you want to call it, right?
I really can't say that because I don't think every mobster killed people.
Thank you, right? That you proving my point. Every mobster didn't kill people, but the mafia as a whole was a bad organization, right? That's the point I'm trying to make. We're not talking about the individuals.
Mafia is not a person is a mafia member. The mafia is a crooked organization from the get-go. It's a crooked organization.
That so I'm comparing it like I said. So
it's the organization that's crooked. The organization.
I'm not so never mind, brother. You got I got this lady that's been on the whole. Once again. That's what I'm saying. So when we're talking about Masons or whatever, right? And you said there's good Masons and there's bad Masons. So my question is the organization in general. All right, my brother. Let me get back to this caller, man. I look over the information and we'll get back with you, my brother. All right.
Do that, man.
All right.
Bye.
All right, Renee Wisdom Atlanta. Hold on just one more second. Let me get to this call and let me see what they talk about. Peace and blessings. You got a couple minutes. All right, Renee. Okay. Thank you so much for being patient. I'm so sorry.
Absolutely.
What you got?
Well, I'm gonna look at it from a spiritual point of view because apparently people are looking at it from a character point of view.
Mm-hmm.
And character is not what determines who we are alone. Are there good Masons? I would say it's probably impossible to be a good Mason. It may be possible to be a good person, but once a good person tethers themselves to an organization that is known to be secretive, that is known to, you got to go in blindfolded. You know how crazy that is. You got to go in with they put a rope around your neck. That's crazy. It's secretive. So, my entanglements, I think, with Masonry is not because of anything that I've done. It's something that my ancestors have done. My grandfather was a Mason. He denounced it. And actually did a ritual to denounce it because he said it just was wicked and evil. And when he realized how wicked and evil it was, how the actions that they required him to be tied to the apron strings of the brothers, and how he had to do so many things, leave my grandmother at home, do all of this stuff. And this was, years ago when you couldn't get from one spot to the next spot real quickly. I don't know what he had to do when they called him, but whatever he had to do when they called him, at one point made him think this is wicked and evil, to the point to where he walked away from years of being tied to this organization to turn his back to it. To me, that says something. They're tethered. Their soul is been given to someone else.
Yeah, I mean, I just like I said, there's stories like this, right? So if an organization was so good, then why would a man who has been in it for so long just up and leave? Hold on real quick, Renee Wilson. Don't hang up.
Okay.
All right, peace and blessings. You live on the air.
Yes, hello. How y'all doing? I'm Sandra from South Carolina. All praises to the Most High God. If you don't already know, get right with God. We're in some wicked times. But I called about the discussion. It's about the Freemasons, the organization as a whole. Come on, y'all. It's wicked. Basically, what they do with the local organizations, what I noticed they do is, because they have one for the women too. It's called the
Eastern Star. Yeah.
Yeah. Now, I'll tell you about the women one because I had a friend who was in that. Well, ex-friend, because I don't play with stuff like that. But when it comes to that Freemason stuff, with the local organizations, what they do is they use that as a cover. That way, when we try to expose it, now you got all these people coming out. It's not wicked. All we doing is community service. Now, keep in mind, the Freemasons are just one of the type of main organization, but they got different sects. Because I done met a lot of them, and they identify kind of like how the fraternities do. But it's all Freemasons, but they'll identify a whole nother name. So they got some sects that they claim their goal is community protection. Another one claims it's to help the children. Another one is something else. So that's another way they can divide it up. It's not just one type on the citizen level. It's different ones. Even further in the agenda, like, okay, when you go and ask them, all we doing is helping the kids. All we doing is this and that. That's because they stayed right there. But if you were to do something like how the celebrity did, then it'd be a whole nother story. You're in the same group, doing the same stuff, but you're going to see a whole different situation. Some people are already seeing it at the citizen level because probably what happened They looked at them and was like, we got one. But then come to find out they didn't. That's how they showed their colors a little more to that person. But to people they know it's real slow, they're going to hide it. Come on now. Now, the Eastern Star stuff, I don't know what the world's going on, because I had asked my friend about that. I said, what is it that y'all do? Because I'm not understanding why you're not giving me no real info. Why is it a secret? What the world is going on? And she was showing me the pictures. She never told me about no service they doing. But these pictures I seen, I kid you not, the dude who run that set that she was involved with, it was all sisters. That's a first red flag. And they was all dressed like strippers. Now, she told me they doing shows, like they go out and do dance shows. But I'm like, sis, dressed like this? This sounds like some weird stuff going on. And it's weird because you'll think these people can see the finesse, but when you're not right with God, you can get brainwashed really super easily. And she was just showing up to the meetings. Like I said, I could never figure out what was the point of this. She had a certificate and everything. They give out certificates like you're in that pack for real. It's a real life club, but like it's different experiences for different people because they got different sects. And don't think the Freemasons are the only ones. I done met people. This is nothing but God showing me this stuff, because ain't no way I would join something like this. There's other type of groups. Like I met a guy one time. He talking about he show up to meetings and they all dress in black suits. And I said, well, what the world y'all doing? I forgot what he said this thing was called, but it wasn't Freemasons. It was something else. He was like, it was something like the Good Gentlemen's Club or something. I'm like, nah.
The Jack and Jill Club and all them clubs like that. So I appreciate you, though, because I do got our sister Renee still on the line.
Yeah.
Let me get back to her, but I
thank
thank
you.
you.
Let y'all know, don't be fooled.
Thank you so much, sweetheart.
Peace and blessings.
Peace and blessings. All right, peace and blessings. You live on the air. I'm going to get right back to you. Sister Renee? Sister Renee? Hello?
Hey, I was watching the show. Are you live?
Yeah, you still live, my brother.
Okay.
Hello?
Yeah, I'm here. So
Yeah.
What was the question?
What was the question? You been watching the show? You don't know what the question was?
Well, no, I heard them talking about it, but basically, I don't think if you tie yourself to anything that's got something to do with it, it's like if I'm doing something wrong in the community and somebody's there with me, they're going to go down for the same thing. So I don't understand why people would say, if you could be a good person, but your soul is still going to be condemned because you're tied into it. So it doesn't really matter, you know?
Yeah.
I don't know why people try to make good out of it. I understand that people do take it, that some pastors or whatever you have may be, they take it and do good things with it, but that you're still getting the devil's hand out. So I don't know why people trying to make it good. It doesn't make sense. I don't understand that. But my question is to you, if you were attending a church and there was a pastor, do you think they would be secretive about it, or do you think that they would come out and tell you?
Well, now there's pastors who openly, claim they wear their the rings and stuff like that. So there's pastors out there who openly do it, and I think there's some pastors who probably don't because they know a lot of people have questions about it. So in order for them to keep, their congregation full and that money coming in, some of them probably kind of keep it on the hush because, they know a lot of people have a lot of questions about it.
Right. And so, I mean, I don't understand why you would have to go somewhere and then they don't. And matter of fact, I know this. When they do join, they don't use Jesus in it at all. They can't use it. So why wouldn't you use the word Jesus? How could you represent God if you're taking God out of it?
Because it's supposed to be acceptance of all belief. That's one thing I've read about. It said it's supposed to be accepting of all belief. Hold on real quick. I got this call. Let's call them back to back. Peace and blessings. You live on the air. Yeah, you gotta mute your TV if you want me to hear you.
Oh, praise the Lord. Praise the Lord.
Praise the Lord.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can.
I thank you for coming on. I'm here in North Carolina. This is Sister Bet. I'm thanking you for this exposure of this demonic fraternity, sorority, whatever you want to call it. It's not of God. My granddad used to be a Mason, and when they go up to a certain degree in the Masonry, they have to renounce God and accept the Baphomet. Now, you probably don't know what that is, or maybe you're familiar with that.
That's the emblem that's on the thumbnail, the goat, the bearded goat, right. The double-breasted goat with the Yes. So you were talking to a gentleman, and he just kept trying to say, they do good, they do this, they do that. Well, we know that the devil was the angel of light. He was Lucifer. He used to be in charge of the music in heaven, right? But his pride got him kicked out. And so this is what we're dealing with today. People don't want to accept the truth and just renounce and denounce. I mean, I don't understand why we have to feel to be tied to something. You yourself saw it with your own eyes. That was nobody but God allowing you for it to be revealed to you so you don't get all hemmed up. So I thank and praise God that you're bold and courageous and you're out here, bringing exposure, because that's what people need. These fraternities are no better. I have family members that are in the fraternities, friends and sororities, and I don't understand why people get grown and then decide they want to join something. Well, if you want to do things for the community, do it in the name of the Lord. Why does it have to be secretive? Why do I have to be AIDS? Why do I have to get beat with a paddle? Why do I have to pledge to something, to a Greek god? He said we should have no other gods but God himself. He said he is a jealous God. So I don't understand why people get on here, want to hold up the line and try and debate and say, no, you don't understand. We just that and the other. The devil is a liar and the father of lies. So keep doing what you're doing, Richard Taylor. Amen. I appreciate you. I appreciate it. Got a call coming in. I thank you, my sister.
All right. Yes, you're welcome. Bye-bye.
All right. Peace and blessings. You live. Appreciate your patience. I see you've been calling for a while. Hello? Okay. So, the person who called hung up. I thought I had one. But I appreciate everybody, man, calling. I know I missed a lot of calls, but man, y'all been giving some. Okay, here my brother from California. You live on the air.
Shalom, brother. How you doing?
Peace. How you doing?
Oh, I'm hanging in there. It's Brother Mike, and I'm calling because I have family on both sides, maternal and paternal side, that was involved in. Masonry. My grandmother, was an Easter Star, and my great uncle was a Mason. I didn't even find out he was into Freemasonry until he had his funeral when he was 95 years old. But, the comment, I'm going to keep it short and sweet because I know there's other people that want to speak. But I want to comment about the man that was debating you about if the Masons are evil or not, and there's good people or bad people and everything like that. I'm just going to say this here. Any organization that keeps its everyday inner workings private, it can't be a good organization. The Masons, no matter what chapter it is or what lodge or anything like that, they're very secretive. They're very private. They don't want you to know their inner workings. So, people got to keep that in mind, And also, I believe that, you know, they deal with mysticism. I believe they deal with sorcery. My mother used to tell us to stay away from my grandmother. She said, oh, you know, she's into some stuff and all of that, and Easter Star stuff and all of that. So, you know, I just don't believe that, you know, it's a good organization. And I'm going to cap it off by saying that, brother. Appreciate your time.
Thank you, my brother. Thank you for your patience too, man. Appreciate you. All right, peace and blessings. You live. I see you've been calling. I'm sorry. Thank you for your patience.
Hey, what's going on, Mr. Rich? First of all, man, I want to, just tell you what a wonderful job that I think you're doing, brother.
Thank you.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So I wanted to kind of touch on this subject just a little bit, right?
All right.
So, first of all, I hear a lot of people saying Masonry is not of God. So my question is this. When we say of God, what do we mean when we say it's not of God? That's my first question.
That's a good question. That's a good question. Somebody can answer that in the chat. What do you mean when we say Masonry, or when you say Masonry is not of God? Well, I guess if God say he's just God. So go ahead. I mean, answer it rhetorically, I guess. But
okay.
Go ahead.
And the second thing, the sister was saying that Masonry is an organization that's secretive. So my thing is this: so how is it a secret when you can go to any library and read or research anything pertaining to Masonry? So, Brother Taylor, if I asked you how much money do you have in the bank, and you would tell me what? That's not my business, right?
Yeah, I guess. Well, it depends on if you was trying to give me a loan or not. You know what I mean? But yeah, for the most part, you know what I'm saying?
For the most part. So Masonry is an organization that has secrets. So as far as the secrets, anything dealing with business, if you're not a part, or if you're not, how can I say it? If that business is not yours, then that business is not your business. So anything dealing with Masonry is not a secret. So a lot of times people say they can't tell you what's going on because they have no knowledge as to what it is going on. No, brother, so I used to be a Mason, and I went all the way up to the 32nd. So every house that you could think of, I was a part of it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so when people say, well, the higher you go, they keep the secrets away from you the higher you go. So, in fact, to be honest, a lot of people saying that Masonry is not of God, but everything that Masonry does is pertaining to God. You know, but however, there's no, you know, there's a difference between, you know, you can't bring your religion, because you understand, anytime religion or politics is involved, that causes a riffraff.
But which God are you talking about, though? Because, you know, just like the brother said at the beginning, they said that they asked him, did he believe in God? And he said, yeah, but they didn't know that he believed in the God with horns, which he was a Satanist. And so when you have to be careful, you know, what God are you talking about?
When we speak of God, God is an ideal, right? So when we think about God, so a lot of people think, hey, God is this, God is this. So we're only arguing ideal, because God is an ideal. So when we say we in this organization, you can't believe in this and you can't believe in this, as long as you believe in God, as long as you believe in something that makes you a moral person, a person that believes that, hey, right is right and wrong is wrong, then hey, you can be a Mason in that regard. So
yeah, but when we speak about God, we're not talking about more. When we speak about God, though, there are several gods, right? So this guy said the God. So you're saying, well, hold on, let me get my point out. You know what I'm saying? Because when you spoke about God, right? This guy said, yeah, this is my God. The devil is my God. So when you're talking about Masonry being of God, it could be of that God or this God or that God. You know, you talking about ideals. So the idea of God is different for different people. So I guess you would say the answer to your question would be, of what God are you talking about?
So we have this discussion that a lot. People talk about, well, when you say God, who are you talking about?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. We have to understand too. God, in that sense, is pertaining to that person. So when you go to a lodge, you say, "Hey, yes, I believe in God." So your God is not to be discussed in this meeting. So God is not to be discussed. Politics is not to be discussed. Nothing is to be discussed that's pertaining to people's ideal of God, because we understand God and politics is those things that separate people. So, and a lot of times, if a brother or a sister go to a meeting, you wearing gloves, and gloves, the reason why is because when you have those gloves on, it don't matter who you are. You could be a doctor, you could be a lawyer, you could be a police officer, you could be a carpenter, you could be whoever. It doesn't matter who you are. So, and I think a lot of times, a lot of people get, they get the understanding of what Masonry is truly about. So when I was a part of it, I joined because of my father. My father was a Mason. So, and before I joined, I did my research to learn about who Prince Hall was. And Prince Hall made me want to join the organization even more.
Now let me ask you. Let's get into that, because my brother gave me some. So who was Prince Hall?
So Prince Hall was he was a slave abolisher, and also Prince Hall taught so-called blacks how to read and write. During the time when we couldn't read and write. So Prince Hall was a soldier, and he wanted to join this so-called organization, but they didn't allow him to.
So why didn't they allow him to?
Because he was of the so-called black race.
Okay, so for people, so let's recap it though, right? Because and this is something my brother told me, who was an advocate for Masonry. He said, Prince Hall was a light-skinned black man, right? He was real light. Right. Is that correct? And he was almost passing for white. And so he tried to join the white version of the Masons, which is the Scottish Rite, from what my brother told me. And they said when they found out that he wasn't really white, they kicked him out. And then that's then he went and started his own from where he had learned from
them. They didn't even allow him to join. So as far as kicking him out, they didn't even allow him to join.
Okay.
And so what happened? So Prince Hall said, okay, so if I'm fighting on the side of these same people, and I can't, because he thought the organization was something else. And so he said, okay, well, if I can't join this organization, I'm fighting on the side alongside these people there, that's a problem. So what he did, he petitioned the Grand Lodge of England. So the Grand Lodge gave him the authority to start what we know today as Prince Hall Masons,
or the Black Masons. Let's just be real, right?
Let's be clear too. There's a difference between the ideology of the so-called Black Masons and the so-called European Masons. So the Black Masonry look African. It looks like us. So it teaches the things that pertain to us. So, and a lot of times, and it goes back to the question I asked. So when we say of God, what are we saying? So they say, well, Masonry is not of God. So there's a lot of things that we do that's not of God, but we don't.
That we can't make this. I don't like the deflection. You know what I'm saying? Like, okay, well, they ain't doing right, so we ain't doing right neither. I don't do it like that. I don't like, okay, well, he robbing a bank, so I can rob a bank too. Now we talking about Masonry there right now. We're not talking about nothing else that ain't right. So let's stick with what we talking about. I don't do it like that.
So that's not what I'm saying. So what I'm saying is this. When we say Masonry is not of God, we have to understand and we have to be clear as to, we have to give a definitive definition or answer as to what we're meaning by something being not of God, because we have to understand that God is love. Mm-hmm. And how can you hate an organization that's full of charity, that's benevolent? That's the whole purpose and premise of being a Mason, is to be to show
but good to humanity. Yeah,
it's to uplift humanity. So how can we hate something that does that? So
well, I've never said I've hated it, and I don't think people have said they've hated
not
it.
saying you, brother, but a lot of people, and they say, well, this organization is this, so we have to ask ourselves. So as a Christian, the ideal of Christianity is to be a good person, a moral person, but there's a lot of people that represent Christianity in a way in which it shouldn't be represented. So
definitely.
If we gonna say that,
and people criticize that too, though. You know what I'm saying? People are very, very hard on the so-called Christians or whatever. So I mean, I don't think no organization or no person is above scrutiny when
and you absolutely right. You're absolutely right. And like I said, I used to be a Mason, but
So that's the question. That's the $1 million question. So why are not you a Mason anymore?
So at some point you grow, you outgrow things, and then I couldn't afford it no more. It started to come a little bit.
The more, I guess, the more degrees you have, the more money you got to pay.
The more money.
Okay.
So it had nothing to do with the devil this, the devil this, the devil this.
Okay, and so I got to bring this question up because this is something that I've heard. Once again through several. He put the question as how y'all end up so bisexual. I'm not going to say that, but people
how we end up what?
So bisexual. But I'm not going to pose it like that. But and then many people have put, well, it's a lesbo fraternity. The Eastern Stars is a home. So, but I have heard, there's some sort of, sexual hazing, some sort of sexual debauchery involved. Now, of course,
that's not true.
Okay.
I'm gonna debunk that now. So,
okay.
Like I said, I'm not even a Mason anymore.
But
one thing about it, man. So no, that's
but I mean, once again, I have to go on, things that have been said. So I once again, and I said at the beginning of the show, anything that I say, I'm not verifying, I'm not verified or certified as true or untrue. I'm just, going off of information that has been said. I'm not saying it's true. I'm not saying it's not true. I'm just saying these.
That's not true, brother.
Okay.
A lot of times, so it's just like Martians and aliens. A person will tell you, hey man, this is what an alien look like, or they fear an alien because they never had the experience to see one. So
exactly.
When we don't understand something, we'll start adding in the truth.
Yeah, people fear what they don't understand. That's what that's one of the things.
A lot of times people fear masonry, and this whole concept of masonry being this worshiping the devil came from this whole Catholic Church understanding. Because understand this: the Catholic Church had to do something to combat members from leaving the Catholic Church to go into the Masonic order. Because why? Because the Catholic Church wasn't doing half of the things that the Masons were doing. So they had to give you this boogeyman and this scary understanding. So the members won't leave the church to go over here. So they vilified the Masonic order.
Definitely. Okay, my brother. Hey, look, man, I appreciate you. Hold on real quick. Let me get this call. Peace and blessing. You've been patient. I thank you so much for calling.
Yes. Okay. So
hold on real quick. Let me say goodbye to the other brother. Hold on.
Oh.
My brother.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, let me see what my man talking about. But I certainly appreciate your patience, man, and your information.
Yes, sir, man, Mr. Taylor, man. I look at the show all the time, man. Again, man, it was an honor and a privilege.
Thanks for your input, man. Thanks for your input.
Yes, sir.
All right.
Yes, sir.
Peace. Yes. You live.
Okay, thank you. I'm looking at something, and I did a little research. It says one of the authors on Masonry is Eliphas Levi. He published the Dogmas and Ritual of High Magic. And it says that the Saviatic goat. So if people are saying that it's a good thing, then why is it why is he a magician? Why did he write a book on magic? I don't get it. So I mean, people have their own beliefs, but it says he wrote the book on hermeticism, the Kabbalah, alchemy, and so you think those? I don't think those are things of God.
I definitely concur. Some of the great, I guess, early Masons, people like Albert Pike and what his name, Albert Manly P. Hall. A lot of those people were confessed occultists or Satanists, and that's from their other work. So I agree with you. We just got to I kind of read. You got to read and research, but I certainly thank you for your input, my brother.
Thank you so much. That's all I want to add.
All right, thank you.
All right.
Yeah, and so there's a lot of information out there, and of course shout out to my brothers who are Masons, and those who were Masons and then they became not Masons for whatever reason, and those whose family members were Masons and decided that it wasn't for them. And, so there's a lot of, I guess, misconception. And of course, if you are part of an organization, and there's some negative information about that organization and you're still in it, I'm pretty sure you're going to defend it, and which is your, lawful right. Like if any, you're supposed to defend on what you believe in. But, if a lot of the people who have came out and what is your eyebrow to the top of your forehead ratio? I don't have any eyebrows, man. Y'all been killing the chat. I ain't been laughing and giggling with y'all, but y'all are funny, man, in the chat. But I hope a lot of hearts are more convicted opposed to defending the mind of shame. Once they all join. So and once again, this is I understand. I guess that's a good reply where if you are in a organization, you wouldn't tell the secrets of the organization. But I don't know, man. Yeah, I don't have any eyebrows, man. So y'all stop. I ain't got no eyebrows that good. I tried to give myself the Big Daddy Kane joints when I was little, and they never kind of grew back. And ain't really have none no way. But one thing I did notice as well, that any lodge you go to, anytime you see a Masonic lodge, there are no windows. There are no windows. So that's I appreciate you. I appreciate you, CJ Field. I appreciate everybody in the chat, man. This is probably the longest live I ever did. 2 hours and 42 minutes. Like normally my lives about an hour if that. But this was a good conversation, and I apologize for not getting to all of the calls and keeping people on hold. A lot of people have sent texts. I appreciate y'all for joining. But yeah, this is a subject that we can continue. Maybe I'll do a little more research, and but there's definitely different perspectives as we see about the the good or evil of this organization. And just like anything, it's ice and where y'all at. Is it? And that's another reason I did it. I know we supposed to have some snow and ice, but I'm in North Carolina. They always lie to us. We never get nothing, and everybody go and buy up everything. But the order of justice. So yeah, so there's a lot of orders. The Knights of the Templar, the Knights of the Malta. It's a lot of different sections. People was even the lady was mentioning some other groups, and then you have the Boule, as things like that. So there's a lot of this, and once again the fraternities. A lot of people have spoken out about the evil of fraternities. And, you know, once again, I've never been one to just join something and be treated any kind of way. That's, you know, and that even came down to the military when they was trying to recruit me and my brother on the buddy plan. I'm like, nah, you just not going to treat me any kind of way. I'm not going to have to do something you tell me to do, even though I don't want to do. And that's the point I was trying to get to, you know, with the brother. He was like, well, no, it wasn't like that. But once again, I can look and see, okay, this brother knows he got to go when they call him. And I think that's what one of the questions I asked. So you mean to tell me every time they call you gotta come? He's like, man, you don't want to not come. You know what I'm saying? So it was that type of energy, that kind of the Fraternal Order of Police. Yeah, they definitely a gang. You know, but you know, it's a lot of, once again, it's a lot of different perspectives on this subject, and I thank y'all for let's talk about what the next time. What we're going to talk about the next time. But I definitely thank you. Check your comments on your first video. Yeah, so there's a lot of equality watch. What's up, equality? That ain't equality with little Journey Mama, is it? If it is you, what's up, girl? We got to catch up. Equality from Norfolk, the one who actually first turned me on. If that's equality from Norfolk, y'all got to actually credit her for, you know, a little bit of who I am today. Like she was, she turned me on to Umar Johnson. I know Umar Johnson been catching I know Umar Johnson been catching a lot of slack lately. You know what I'm saying? But back in 2000, I think it was like 11. She was like, you ain't heard of Dr. Umar? And she put one of his speeches on. I was like, man, this is what I'm on, right? And then she was like, you ain't heard of Tariq Nasheed? She put Hidden Colors on. And I was like, this is what I've been missing out of my life. You know what I'm saying? So, but yeah, I never forget. And I know Umar Johnson right now is daggone. He taking another snack. But you know what I'm saying? Like back then when he was on his stuff, like I was hooked. I was hooked into yeah, that's right. You know what I mean? But you know, what shout out, that's what it's good to see you, good to hear from you. But you know, I appreciate everybody, you know, who's supporting this channel. Red be smiling. You know, I thank y'all for tuning in to the live. Like I said, I guess I gotta come back on live a bit more because we had a good conversation. So why the KKK is on watch list, but okay. But yeah, I appreciate y'all, man. Y'all take care. We gonna be back on. You know, stay tuned for you know, some other stories and things like that. But I definitely thank y'all for watching. Y'all make sure, once again, y'all stay tuned. If you haven't subscribed, please subscribe. You know, turn your notification on so you check out Truth Unedited. Okay, definitely. But I appreciate y'all, man. Y'all take care. Y'all be good in the snow and the ice, wherever you at. Be easy. Much love. Peace and blessings.